At Football Park tonight, it's a clash of the heavyweights with Port Adelaide taking on Glenelg. Both sides are undefeated. Glenelg premiers in 85 and 86, but could manage only 5th place last season and have defeated Port Adelaide only once in their last 6 encounters, excluding Foundation Cup matches. And that was on Anzac Day last year when the Tigers snuck in by 8 points. Their opponents tonight, Port Adelaide, are on a football roll. Foundation Cup premiers in 89 and back-to-back SNFL premiers in 1988-89. Tonight, in the absence of Russell Johnson, the Pies will be captained by club favourite and club champion centre-half-back Greg Phillips. Tonight's clash promises to be an absolute beauty. To introduce you to the action, it's Ken Cunningham.
Thanks very much, Kim. Joining me now, Neil Curley and Curls. As Kim said, the scene is set for what should be a fantastic game of footy.
Certainly is, Ken. It really promised to be a great game, this one, and let's hope that's the way it goes. These two sides are just so evenly matched, with I see the Port half-back line being the dominant factor.
Well, Curls, just talking about the Bays for one moment, we do know that Michael Murphy, who was named as part of the 21 players, has in fact dropped out. He played in the twos tonight. That's a pretty useful side. Obviously, they'll throw it about. Graham Corns doesn't sort of place his side before the game, so they will throw it about, and a lot of youth there, Kills, Liptak, Rouvray, and some talented players.
Yes, Liptak, Rouvray, Jamison, Thompson, Ellis and Bromo. They are youngsters, and it'll be interesting to see how these young kids perform under this finals type pressure. I just think that towards the end of the game, these youngsters, I may be wrong, but I think they may just feel the pressure a little bit, and I just think that could be an edge in Port's favour.
Kills, what about Malikan and Christie, two genuine big guys? Now, there's no Russell Johnson on the Port Adelaide side. Is that a big advantage to the Bays, do you feel?
No, unless, of course, Hines gets injured. I think Hines, in the night game, can handle this type of stuff. They certainly are very good ruckmen in Malikan and Christie, but I think Hines can do the job. He's done it before. Well,
from Port Adelaide's point of view, Kills, of course, their line, their magnificent line is that half-back one. Abernethy, Phillips and Northeast. That's a tremendous line, that.
Yes, back to that, of course, well supported by their centre line.
Yep.
I think Hutton, S, Williams and Tregenza are as good a centre line as there is in the league. And their half-back line, of course, has been their strength, which has given them great rebound to get the ball into attack with smoothness and with direction. That's given them a great advantage over the years, and I see that half-back line as a stumbling block for Glenelg.
Actually, Borlay's Curls, since he's been given the responsibility of running on the ball, his form has been outstanding.
Yes, he's a confidence player, and he's a type of player that tries to find the ball all the time without being really tight in his checking role. And of course, with Maynard, his opposite opposition, playing exactly the same type of game, I see a lot of looseness through the centre area tonight, and I think that there'll be a lot of play going through there with a lot of loose players.
Well, Curls, Graham Cameron's on the boundary. Graham, you made the point that you're a little bit concerned about Port's forward setup.
Well, I am, Ken. Yes, there's no marking power of any significance. If Scott Hodges can be quelled, and I believe he can be, there's not much up there to take a mark and kick a goal, although I do realise night football isn't really a marking game. But nevertheless, there is more marking power in the Bay forward line than there is in the Port setup.
Well, Graham, you made the point about you feel Scott Hodges can be controlled. Who would you place on him?
I know he's playing on him, Ken, but I put John Seabohm on him.
Well, the way Hodges played against us 2 weeks ago, Graham, I think they need Mandrake.
Well, each stage a different day, Neil. As a matter of fact, boys, down here, it's a magnificent sight, and the ground is absolutely brilliant tonight. I've never seen it looking better, but there is dew on the ground. So in the first quarter, don't look for any big marking situation, but as it dries out a little, with the players running over it, I think we'll see more marking.
Graham, it's not going to dry out, it's going to get worse.
It's going to rain, is it, Neil?
No, it's going to get more dew.
You think so? I thought the players running across it might just sort of throw the dew sideways a little bit and make it a more, I guess, marking situation.
They got heaters in the soles of their feet or something.
Well, they're pretty quick, some of these blokes. People like Wanganeen in particular, scorching over the ground, may dry it out a little.
Well, you're right.
Well, Graham, you're obviously going for the Bays. Why do you think the Bays will win?
It's not obvious, Ken. Yes, I am going for the Bays. Only by 1 to 10, the mandatory 1 to 10, because I just feel, Ken, Port are due for a loss. How silly is that? I've picked against them the first 2 weeks so far, and I've been dead wrong. But tonight I feel just something about the Bays. Look, there won't be a split hair in it. We come into the night, I think Glenelg, by 1 to 10, and what I consider will be a great test of character and a great test of the ability of both sides.
What about the centre lines? Neil made the point, of course, that he's impressed with that Port Adelaide centre line. You obviously know who'll line up for the Bays there, not as placed, but how do you see the duels there across centre?
Well, they have changed the centre line around a little, and I think the Bays hold sway experience-wise. Neil touched on experience, and perhaps the Bays centre line is the most experienced line they've got out on the ground tonight.
What about Fidge? Of course, he's been a big focal point and the key player up forward for the Tigers. Who would you place on Fidge?
Well, the guy they've got there, of course, Phelps, Jeffrey Phelps, is the only possible answer, Ken. He's a big lumbering type. Fidge may get away from him, and Fidge doesn't mind the close quarter stuff either. He can take a mark against the odds. I like Fidge. He really is a top player, and he's hell-bent on getting 100 goals this year, Ken, if he can stay sound.
Gee, Kills, he has made a big difference, isn't he, to the Bows, Fidge?
Oh, yes, he's a very good player. He's a percentage player. He reads the movement of the ball further afield very quickly, and you notice he takes a lot of his marks on his chest,
right,
2 yards away from his opponent. Now, this fellow boy Phelps has got to concentrate really hard tonight to be with him when the ball hits the area they're playing in, not with him when the ball's 60, 70 yards down the ground.
We've seen Greg Phillips, of course, Kills, in fantastic form. Who would you play centre half forward for the Bows? I've named Bartlett there. Would you play him there?
Well, I guess they will play Bartlett. They certainly need height and strength there, and they need somebody that actually, in night football, you've nearly got to man up, Philip. I know it sounds stupid, the centre half forward manning up the centre half back, but Phillips is such a good reader of the ball, it wouldn't hurt this young Bartlett boy to man him up and play him man to man.
I just think a lot depends on McDermott's form, Curl, because he's a man that gets that ball out of the square so consistently. I think if he's on top tonight, they'll have a big game.
Well, he's always on top. He always plays well, McDermott, particularly in big games.
Got some strapping on himself, Curl.
Well, so did Farlap, and he still ran well. But now this boy, he's just the heart and soul of Glenelg, and he's all heart. He's a great player, one of the real true champions of football in the last 10 years in this state.
And the boy alongside him a few moments ago was young Matthew Liptak, and he's a boy that's really taken the league scene by storm.
Exciting youngster.
There he is there. Okay, it should be a great game. Comments there from Neil Kelly as we take you to your commentator, Kim Dillon.
Thanks very much, Ken. The Tigers have won the toss and elected to kick to the northern end of Football Park, so that is to the left of your screen. The crowd are just starting to warm to this match. I would say approximately 15,000 people. And we may have expected a better crowd than that. The conditions here are ideal. No breeze to talk about. Umpires in control tonight are Stephen Semler. That is the man with the ball. Of course, Semler had charge of the Foundation Cup game. Officiating with him tonight is Richard Williams. Melican opposed to Hines. Melican wins the tap quite easily. Down there is Maynard trying to work free. Gets a kick along the ground. It goes out towards Mansell. This should sit for him. He paddles the ball forward. Abernathy in pursuit. The ball goes back towards Liptak. He's well tackled. Jamison in there. Well tackled by Hutton. He goes down to ground. And that's a high tackle, and he's a little bit lucky there.
I thought the free kick was there, Kim.
Jamison puts it up high, front position there. Oh, it's punched away from Rouvray. In there is Hodgman, the veteran, the live wire, still a crowd favourite, over the top, being harassed by Tregenza. Borlase tried to crash his way through. Another high tackle, and Port Adelaide will go into attack.
Borlase now from centre half back will put the Maggies into attack. Goes towards the half forward flank, looking for Stringer. Over the top went Melican, couldn't grab the football. Gee, body's going everywhere there, and umpire Semler will call for a bounce.
Well, you'd expect this at this opening. There should be a lot of commitment out there and a lot of tough, hard play, and I don't think either side will wilt in that direction.
A bounce. Stringer over the top. Liptak with the kick towards centre wing, out of side. Mansell coming out with him as Abernathy, picked up superbly by Mansell, being harassed by Abernathy. That's good football. The ball towards the boundary line. Port Adelaide coming in there through Rosonico. The handball away. Back towards Stephen Williams. He can't take the mark. Brown comes out. Good vision to see Borlase. Throws it out wide. Borlase with a high kick up towards half forward. A chance now for Rowan Smith. Commitment out there very, very strong by both sides. Marshall, McDermott. Back towards centre wing, and Mansell takes the mark, and it's crashed.
Yes, he managed to go into an opponent there. Abernathy applied the pressure. Mansell, short pass, drops it in, finds Maynard. He's a master of finding spaces, and he's off pretty quickly. Onto the left boot, he puts it up high. Fidge has two players to contend with. Hines was back there. There's a push, and it was picked up by the umpire.
Actually, Abernathy's been led 3 times the ball now by young Mansell. That's not a good sign for Port.
Phelps kicks to the outer side. Out there looking for Smith. Front position was Melican. Good work by Abernathy to get that over towards Hutton. He likes to run Hutton as he spears out a pass looking for Hodges. Over the head of that player. In defence is Ross Gibbs. He kicks to the open spaces. It's a race for pace, and the quickest bloke out there looks like being Tregenza. He gets the handball across. In there is Gibbs, and he's pretty happy to see that go over the line.
Yeah, it's a promise to be a great game, this one. All of a sudden, like, there's just no pattern in this. It's going to be tough, hard footy.
Boundary throw in. Melican from behind towards Gibbs. Bromelo in there. Setri. But the ball is forced out of play. 3 minutes have been played in this first term. And you're watching it live on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Melican, the tap down, taken by Wanganeen. Tried to weave his way through the pack, couldn't do so. Setri is there, pushes the ball over the line, and again the ball is out of play.
We've had just over 3 minutes of the opening term. Melican opposed to Stringer. The ball goes straight down towards Liptak. He gets the kick away. It's a wobbly one underneath that northeast. And Neil, that's twice now tonight we've seen players probably should have taken those marks, but that ball appears to be a little bit slippery.
Oh, it'll certainly get worse too. And the yellow ball, it's brand new. They're always slippery when they're new.
Throw in once more. Hines came in late, didn't get near the football. Maynard over the top, tried to get a handball out from the pack. It wasn't quick enough, according to umpire Stephen Semler. We'll have a bounce on the defensive side of centre wing for the Tigers. Melican won the tap. In there is Liptak, best on ground last week against the Blues. And Brown was likewise for his side, if not pretty close to it against the Redlegs. Approaching the 4-minute mark. Neither side yet to get on the ball. Melican once more wins the tap. Tregenza taken out of it. In there working hard is Seabohm. McDermott's tackled without the ball, very quick by Liptak. Melican not so quick. Now in there is Ball Ace. He's having a good season. Thompson couldn't control it. Seabohm picked it up cleanly. In there working hard is McDermott. And that's a dead heat.
Yeah, it's a great clash already. This is going to be a top game, this one. I keep repeating it, but there's players out there that are just going to give their heart and soul for their club.
Certainly the tackling is very, very fierce and very quick. Melican has a chance now, taps it back towards Bromelo. He can't do much with the foot. He picks it up eventually, but it's smothered. Gee whiz, it's heavy in there at the moment. In goes Stephen Williams, and umpire Semler once again will bounce.
Not a good sign for Port Adelaide, because I can see Melican already clearly on top in the rucking duels.
Umpire Steve Semler, his co-umpire tonight is umpire David Elliott. Melican beautifully tapped out to Liptak. Here's a chance for the Bays now. Maynard towards Hodges, but it's too long, the kick. Fiacci dropped the mark. Picked the football up superbly. Goes to northeast at centre wing towards half forward. Bromelo. Brown working hard for the footy. Gee, it's desperate stuff. Seabohm picks it up, kicks towards half forward. A chance for Bartlett, thumped away. In fact, it was Rouvray, kicked by Maynard up towards full forward. Crumbed by Fiacci. Away they go now. Rosonico goes for Phelps. Taps it on cleverly to Ball Ace. That's super football, the Maggies. Towards centre half forward. The kick's not quite as good. Gibbs comes out. Bow. Taken by Setri. Up towards full forward. Hodges. Oh, well done. Couldn't take the mark. Got away from Elias. Into the pocket it goes. Rowan Smith with a chance now. Picked it up around his body. Don't tell me! What's he done? Only a minor score. He's a master at those angle shots, kills Rowan Smith.
Yes, he and Nicky Winmar, they wouldn't have surprised me if that boy had a kick that. He's just a freakish, he's got that ability just to know where the goals are without looking.
6 minutes into the opening term, Port Adelaide 1 point, and that's the only score thus far as the ball is brought in by Gibbs. He finds Seabohm and the veteran puts it out in front of the running Liptak. Wasn't a good kick. This allows Northeast to pick up the crumbs. The loose ball goes over to Brown. The handball and turn to Tregenza. He'll have to use his evasive skills here. He put Northeast under pressure, but he was equal to that. Now the handball goes over towards Brown, searching for McKay. One too many handballs, but it's picked up well by Setri. The kick wasn't equal to the pickup, and that ball goes out of bounds on the full.
It will be very interesting tonight to see how Simons plays young Tregenza. They're both attacking players, and normally Simons likes to roam free. If he does that, gee whiz, Tregenza will take him apart.
If I was Tony, I'd have a lasso in my shorts. It's the only way to stop Tregenza. He's so quick and he's extremely fit. Off hands to one of the veterans in Marshall. He's kicked forward, out there looking for Rouvray, and it appears that Paul Rosonico will have the job of looking after Rouvray this evening. 7 minutes in, a very talented youngster. It will be Hines opposed to Bartlett. Melican has dropped back. That's the advantage Glenelg have tonight with the added height. Tregenza tried to steal it. Simons at the bottom of the pack. Dead heat situation, and umpire David Elliott will bounce.
7.5 minutes gone in the first term. Port Adelaide a point. Glenelg yet to go on the board. The bounce. Bartlett contested that one. Simons to Liptak. Can he keep it in play? No, he can't. Very talented youngster, young Matthew Liptak, medical student and a fine footballer. Protege of the junior talent at the Bay. Melican tapped it down but stolen that occasion by Tregenza. Beautifully put to Brown. Brown to Hodges. With him Elias. Hodges almost the mark. Taken by Thompson. He'll use his pace. Kicks long. Rosonico with a chance. Used the body but couldn't take the mark. Maynard working hard. To Bartlett. Chance now for Jamison. But coming out there, Abernethy. Having a great season as usual. Abbott goes towards Stringer, who has the sit and takes the mark. It's strong mark by Stringer. Kicks towards full forward, looking for Hodges. Can he mark? No, he can't almost. Elias with the crumbs. Thompson back to Melican. Doesn't find the body with the handball. Players going in hard, loose footed. Stolen by Marshall. He'll use it. Kick number 2 for Marshall. Good defensive work by Port Adelaide on that occasion. Comes the ball away and out of play.
Gee, Hodges had some opportunities. He's had his hands to 4 balls up there, and 2 weeks ago he took everything. Like tonight, he hasn't caught a ball yet.
Throw in on the outer side, Stringer to do the ruck work. Melican won the tap once more. It goes down to Liptak. The handball back to Robbie Thompson's well smothered by Ball Ace. Rowan Smith couldn't control it. Lyndon Bow in there over the top. Daisy Ball Ace in there once more, but the boundary line wins out. Just over 9 minutes into the first term and we've only seen 1 point scored, which is an indication of the tightness of this match. Stringer, good body work, but Melican still won the tap. Quick hands by McDermott to get that to Bow. Couldn't quite control that, and a throw in once more in front of Mark Kelly's Pies.
Gee, and having the umpires open well so far, a very sensible display.
Yeah, I think it's the only way to umpire a game too. You've got to let it flow a bit. McDermott once more, he's a master at picking up possessions. The ball goes forward, centre field. Little Georgie Porgy couldn't get to that one, but his teammate in North East got it around his body and it went straight to Tregenza. He's fighting fresh air, but he's off, he's quick. Sits it up for Brown, it's a little high. That made it easy for Bromelo, who in turn gets it down to Hodgman. Hodgie puts it up high. Hines front position. Big leap by Rouvray, and that's the first real overhead mark we've seen tonight. And the Magpie crowd's not happy, but I think that was fair enough. Fidge underneath that. Slight push in the back, play on the call. Rowan Smith appears to be ruck roving tonight, Neil.
Yes. He'll be doing a bit of that.
And I think he needs that. He's been starving on his half-forward flank of late. It's the short pass in towards Fiarchi. Loose checking by the Tigers. Clever play by Georgie as he drives it in long. Hodges back there pushing against Elias. Great desperation by Craig Elias. And once more Stephen Semler will bounce the ball, and Kenner makes a difference when the ball is moved into the forward line quickly.
Yes, 1-on-1 for the full forward. Kim gives the forward a better opportunity. The bounce down. Seabone with the kick. Setre with a chance. Marshall did it cleverly. Great handball to Bow. He has a fit of the fumbles. Kicks off the ground eventually. Through half forward, the big fella. She's a big man, Phillips. Incinerating touch. Back towards Stringer at centre half forward. Oh, stolen superbly by young Tregenza. Around the body, back to Seabone, who goes out wide. Now here's a chance for the Bays. Jamison, Bartlett is loose. That's the way he goes. Finds him just. Run through half forward. Had the option of Bow or Mansell. Over to Mansell. Mansell towards goal. I think it's home. It is. That's the first one.
Well, that was tremendous play by Mansell. In fact, it was better play by Bartlett. He was the man that set up the play. The loose kick came out. He took it low to the ground, evaded 2 opponents. The handball went over to Mansell, and he's pretty accurate, and he was within the 50-metre line, and he goaled, and that was the first one for the Tigers. Centre field once more. The first goal of the game is to Glenelg. Melican in there. The tap won by Hines. Down towards Rowan Smith. Quick handball back to Hines. His handball in turn found Brown. That was even a better one over towards Stephen Williams. That's about his first possession for the night. Big leap. Hodges 2 grabs. Didn't take it. He's looking dangerous though, but the free kick will go the way of Craig Elias.
Yeah, but if you don't start catching a few early, like, you lose all your confidence, and that boy's had 5 chances now.
McDermott with the mark. To Bow again, the Bays have an opportunity. They've got plenty of loose players on this outer flank. Goes out towards Marshall. Back towards Jamison. The Bays into attack once more. Into the pack it goes. Players working hard. Rosonico tackled by Liptak. Phillips, Bartlett towards the boundary line, picked up by Fiachi, but his handball is smothered and it goes out of play.
They're creating some loose players, Glenelg. They're doing it with ease, particularly through Hutton's side over there. I think he may be a bit loose in his checking tonight.
No breeze to speak of here at Football Park, so no real advantage to either side. Brown was tackled. Hodgman in there ferociously. Couldn't break the tackle, though, of David Hines. And Semler will bounce once more. Around 15,000 people here at Football Park as Greg Phillips indicates he wants a teammate to come up the ground a little. The tap is won by Bartlett. Rowan Smith gets the kick away, though. He puts it up high. Players set themselves. Oh, a huge lead there by McKay. Not all that educated, though. Went up far too early. That allowed Bowe to get the ball back to Melican. Players up high. Off hands taken by Northeast. A sweeping handball. It didn't find its target. It's been stolen by Jamison. In turn over towards Marshall. Marshall puts it up high. They need a grab. Fidge underneath. Oh, strong chest mark.
This is what this boy does. He doesn't rely on the ball coming up high. He just gets his body there with his big shoulders and keeps the opposing backman away from it. Whereas at the other end of the ground, we have Hodges going for the spectacular mark. And I can tell you on the night, Fidge's style will win every time.
He's normally fairly accurate. He'll be kicking from about 15 to 20 metres out. First kick for the match. We've had 14 minutes of the first term. And Fidge has kicked truly.
Well, that's a fantastic goal by Fidge. Marshall, who's had a scintillating first quarter. Look at the strength of this man. Just put the hand up, put the body between the ball and the player, and took a strong mark. Grip like vice. Fidge takes the mark and kicks accurately. Back in the centre, umpire David Elliott with the bounce. Hines. Rowan Smith, he's knocked over. And a high tackle, repaid to the base.
I just can't quite see that decision. The player's got his head down. The tackler must infringe, and it should be play on.
Bartlett from the centre. Over the top went Phelps. The Bay's looking the better side in the opening moments of this first quarter. And umpire Elliott will call for a bounce down at half forward right for the Tigers. 15 and a half minutes in. The Tigers 2 goals. Port Adelaide 1 point.
An 11-point advantage to Glenelg. The tap is won by Abernathy. That went straight down towards Rosonico, playing out of a back pocket. He uses the left boot to put it out wide, looking for Williams. Williams, good recovery, and also gets a push in the back, and that had to be a free kick. He's off, and that's a feature of his game. He likes to move the ball quickly. He puts it up towards centre half forward. Stringer was the target. Seabone was the spoiler, but it's picked up beautifully by Wanganeen out to Northeast. He had to kick that quickly. Puts it up high. Hodges another chance, but great strength, Elias, and the mark's been paid. The ball will have to go back. The umpire has blown the whistle. The players didn't hear it due to the crowd showing their appreciation.
Well, you don't see many of those, but it's a great mark. The boy didn't take his eyes off it.
He plays on the kick down centre field, looking for Jamison. Jamison takes it on the chest. They're pretty keen, the Tigers. The handball to Hodgman, puts it up towards centre half forward. Bartlett there opposed to Phillips, and he's taken the mark. So they're juggling them at both ends. Loose players. The running man is Marshall. He's taken the mark. And I tell you what, Neil, this man doesn't miss too often.
If you wanted a boy kicking for your life, you'd certainly choose this fella, but I think Williams has got to do something in the middle. He's playing very loose. Marshall at this stage with McDermott and Hodgman are the 3 dominant players on the ground, and Porter got to tighten up.
Well, Curls has put his life on this kick. Let's hope David Marshall doesn't let him down. He'll be kicking from about 35 metres.
You can lick your pencil.
Kick number 4. He's been prominent, and he's also accurate.
David Marshall, one of the veterans of the Glenelg side, having a great first quarter here, getting many kicks. He has the happy knack of finding the open space, David Marshall, time and time again. An amazing thing how a player like him, of his ability, can get away by himself so often, so many times.
Back at the centre bounce. Taken by Hines. Port Adelaide up towards half forward. Setra, strong mark. At half forward. Up towards Hodges. Elias in front. Hodges up early. Free kick, yes. So Elias winning that duel.
This is what happens when a player starts poorly and drops marks. He becomes frustrated and he'll give away a lot of free kicks if he continues to play from behind.
And that was an obvious free kick, a high tackle. Gibbs. Poor kick on that occasion, finds Hines. Hines goes short. Strong mark again by Setre. Now, he's about 45 metres away. 3 or 4 Port Adelaide players into the square and he's missed. Gee whiz.
Just rushed it a bit there, Ken. It just showed the inexperience. The boy could have just set and had a kick for goal, but he just rushed his play a bit.
Yes, he let the players racing to the square distract him just slightly. He should have made the distance from there. In defence, that's Melican, kicked straight into the man on the mark, being Hodges. He now taps the ball in turn to Bromelo. He's tackled by Hodges once more. It's picked up by Smith. That's a very good handball. Now Setri should make amends here as he puts it through the middle and the Magpies kick their first.
That's bad play by Melican. He didn't notice that Hines went off the mark a little bit and came up as he kicked, and that was poor football from a reasonably experienced player. But McDermott, I felt, should have got a free there because Hodges held on to him far too long.
And Setri running into an open goal. That's the first for the Maggies. Glenelg are 3 goals, 18. 19 minutes into the first term. Port Adelaide 1-8, so it's the Tigers by 10 points. And a good opening by both sides. Port Adelaide, I'll come back. Glenelg look the better side so far. Creating the loose man in the open spaces. The bounce. Hines. Taken by Borlays. In he goes again, almost... Would have got a free kick, but it's stolen by Marshall again. Kick number 5 for Marshall. He's well on top. Phelps comes out. Good score on that occasion. Crumbed superbly by Fiacci. He does that well, Fiacci. Back to centre wing and finds Stephen Williams. Looks for options. Onto his left boot, then back onto his right. Wanganeen used his body beautifully, the kid. Pushed Thompson under the football. Gee, he's got some skill, this kid. Goes short to Hodges. That's not a good kick. Elias! Geez, playing with a great deal of confidence. Over to Marshall. Marshall goes towards centre wing, and not often we see Marshall not use the football. Lip tack, Stephen Williams. Lip tack, throws it back towards the boundary line. Setre comes in, but takes the ball over the boundary line. 20 minutes in, Glenelg 3 goals, Port 1-2. Great crowd, Footy Park.
Yes, certainly some Tiger supporters that would be feeling reasonably comfortable at this stage. Mind you, they wouldn't be feeling safe. That handball from Hines searching for Setri, and the ball eventually goes over the line.
I think Ross Gibbs has got to tighten his game. That young Setri had 3 balls there in the last, within a minute of play a short time back.
Throw in, grandstand wing just by the interchange gates. That has to be a free kick to Bartlett. Hines ran right into his backside. Kick number 4 for the centre half forward, so he's been in the action, puts it up high. Underneath that was Northeast, couldn't take it. Good handball by Fiacci to Rosonico, who ultimately finds Tregenza. Thought about going short, now puts it up. The target is Stringer, he sets himself, but there's Glenelg players everywhere as the ball is thumped towards the boundary line once more.
Defence of Glenelg playing superbly. Graham Corns, Wayne Stringer on his left. Coach of the twos. He'd be happy with the start, Cornsey. No doubt. Setre. Handball is smothered. Tregenza towards Phillips. It won't budge him. Stephen Williams and Jason Bromelo takes the mark. Defence playing superbly, the Bays. It really is. Kick number 3 for Bromelo. It's a long one. Back towards the centre half forward. Bartlett Phillips. Loose football. Taken by Abernethy. He goes short to centre wing. That's going to be a 50-metre. Yep, spot on. Umpire David Ennett holds the hand up, and he'll bring David Marshall back 50 metres. I think that's a great rule. Really a good rule.
Well, it's not a good rule if your team gives away a 50-metre. It's a great rule if you get it. It certainly keeps the game clear, and players are not scragging like they were, say, last year with a 15-metre. I like the rule. I think, as you say again, I agree with you. It's very good.
Stephen Williams with a chance. That's home, Port Adelaide second.
Well, David Marshall wouldn't be feeling all that pleased with himself. It was a blatant 50-metre. He showed total disregard for the new rule. And Stephen Williams, one of the more accurate kicks in league football, kicking from about 45 metres out, posted the second goal for Port Adelaide, and gee, anything could have happened. He certainly wouldn't have scored if it wasn't for that extra penalty, and that 50 metres certainly makes a difference. 2-2 plays 3 goals, the advantage to the Tigers. Melican won the tap, but the smother was brilliant by Rosonico. In there is McDermott once more, and he receives a free kick for a high tackle. Brown takes exception to Jamison. Oh, and he tried to play on. Good defensive play by Port Adelaide. Simon's in there, tapped it towards Seabohm, dives over the top and wins a free kick for his courage. Well, just a little bit of aggro starting to develop out there. Simons and Stringer. Tony Simons would be conceding just a few kilos out there. Kick number 1. The Glenelg wingman puts it up. Oh, Bartlett, strong mark, front position. Certainly helps. He puts it in quickly to Fidge. Let's see how he uses his body. He tries to push out Phelps, and the mark's been paid.
Yes, he is very strong, and the thing is, he does his body work right at the last split second. So the umpire, there's no infringement. It's good body work, and this is why this bloke will be more damaging than Hodges, who sits back for the big fly.
Kicking from about 15 metres out, again a very similar position to where he kicked his first goal. This will be his second kick, taking plenty of time. He currently leads the goal kicking in South Australia, and he's just booted his second goal.
Well, he's certainly giving the side something to aim at, but I'm very impressed with young Bartlett at centre-half forward. He's playing as good a game on Phillips as I've seen for some time. He's coming up the ground. Phillips is electing to stay back a bit, which is his normal pattern, and the Glenelg players are finding him, and that's going to be a problem there, and they've got to tighten up in that area.
He's had 5 kicks and 1 handball, nil to Phillips, 3 kicks so far. In fact, 3 handballs so far.
Well, that's as I see the game.
Fidge, Bucci's second. 10 points in front of the Bays. Maynard loses the football. Rowan Smith to Abernethy, around his body, a chance now for Brown. He's flanked by Hutton, but he's got the football. He'll run through half forward, raises the eyes, kicks to Hodges, trying to go the specky again, can't do it. Come well by Seabohm. That defence of Glenelg is fantastic. The kick came from Thompson. Over the top with a great handball to Bow. Here they go again. Marshall, gee whiz. How many times has he been by himself tonight, Marshall? 7th kick, he's also had 3 handballs. Rosonico, great mark, no, not paid. Tapped on to Bartlett, he races away from Phillips, yes he does, just kicks towards goal. Don't tell me he's kicked it. No, gee whiz, it's good stuff. The Bays 4-1, Port 2-2.
Yeah, it's great football, and the key, as we keep repeating, is Marshall in the centre. He's really opened up extremely well.
Well, Stephen Williams in a spot of bother. Andrew Jarman gave him the slip last Wednesday on Anzac Day. And as Neil mentioned earlier, he'll have to tighten up. Jeffrey Phelps kicks down the middle of the ground, just favouring slightly the outer side. There's a big leap there, and the mark's been taken by Marshall. And, gee, this is the best form he's displayed for quite some time. Have a look at that. He drives it in long, Fidge is too far back, and Hines in the correct position for the ruckman takes the mark. Looking to feed off, does so, out the back door towards Jeffrey Phelps, who in turn puts out a pass. The loose players everywhere, Port Adelaide. He finds David Brown, he'll try and draw the player. The handball goes over to the running back pocket player in George Fiarchi. He sits it up, Stringer underneath, Gibbs up high. Taking the crumbs was Bromley. They're playing pretty well, the Tigers. They're working it out well in defence. In turn to Seabohm, kicks back towards the outer wing. Lip tackle has to stand his ground. Taken off hands cleverly there by Fiarchi. The handball searching for Smith, didn't find that player. Williams stood his ground, couldn't take the football though. In there working hard still, players grab him and the crowd appreciate his efforts.
See, that defence of the Bays is almost impassable at the moment. They are playing superbly. Elias, Bromelo, Seabohm. The bounce. Taken by Marshall again. Up towards half forward. Bartlett. Around his body up towards Fidge, being harassed by Phelps. Rosonico taps it out, but Bartlett will go in for the second time. Pushed in the back by Rosonico, which wasn't good football. Carl wouldn't be impressed with that. And Bartlett, as Kells has told you, having a very good quarter on Greg Phillips. There's the free kick you'll see coming up. blatant. This is his 8th kick. Young Alan Bartlett, also a protege of the junior talent and development down at the Bay. Mansell in short, the kick's too strong for him. Crumb by Phillips, goes short to Rezonico. Now the Maggie's working out of defence through Abernethy. Back towards centre wing. Taken by Setri. Oh, he can't. Has it fit of the fumbles. Puts himself under the hammer. Gee whiz. Yes, a high tackle, but he was lucky. Very lucky, Curls.
Well, the penalty was there, so he was tackled too high.
Yeah, Big Melican having trouble getting down for that tackle. The ball put out wide. The spoiler is Bromelo. Picked up nicely by Brown, but taken once more by Bromelo. The handball back towards Seabohm. He lifts the eyes. I don't know if the kick's any good. It fell short. The target was Liptak. The ball was taken by Tregenza. Now stolen by Stringer. He's 45 metres out, relaxes. He lined up the goals, but the ball just going away to the right.
Well, Glenelg's forward line is functioning far better than Port's at this time, and I think young Scotty Hodges, we've said it before, he has to change his style of play.
Gibbs transfers play towards the grandstand side. Elias, gee whiz, hasn't he been a good find for the Bays this year? The running player is Liptak. Not a good kick, doesn't find the player. Abernethy. Oh, he could be in trouble. He is. It's a lost ball now. Back to Marshall. What a quarter he's had. Unbelievable. Over to McDermott. McDermott goes long and high. Now Phelps has the sit on Fitch. Up goes one hand. Fitch goes in the second time. Fiacci gets ridden in the back and a free kick. Good umpiring by umpire Semler. The free kick was there. And Fitch will take the free kick. Jack Carl is not a happy man. He looks 110, shakes his head. Tell you what, I'd like to be a fly on the wall at quarter time out there.
Gee, that's not healthy for a man that's just turned 50. You've doubled his age, Ken, as the ball is... Oh, McDermott looking for a free kick, and he was awarded one. It was there. He certainly made it look a little worse than what it is.
They're getting to the ball quicker than Port Adelaide players. They're reading it better and they're working harder.
Short pass by McDermott finds Liptak. Now he's about... well, he'll be kicking from about 45 to 50 metres out. He'll kick just inside the 50-metre line. I'm not all that sure how much distance he does obtain with his kicks. We'll soon find out. He puts it up high. It'll be a handy goal, but it drifts offline. It goes through for a point at quarter time here at Football Park. Glenelg 4 goals to 26, leading Port Adelaide 2-3-15. We'll be back with more football shortly.
Let the night roll on.
Welcome back to the Football Park. Looking at the scoreboard, the Tigers off to a great start. 4 goals to 26, leading the Magpies 2-3-15. Leading goal kickers for the Tigers, John Fidge only had 2 chances and managed to kick 2 goals. Mansell 1, Marshall 1, and for the Magpies, Setri and Stephen Williams 1 apiece. And Graham Campbell down on the boundary. That goal from Stephen Williams aided by a 50-metre penalty.
When you think about it, Kim, both goals by Port have been Bay mistakes, bad mistakes. I mean, Chris Melican kicked into the man in the mark. They got a goal out of that to Adrian Setray, and then of course Stephen Williams had a free kick, but unaccountably David Marshall made his one mistake for the quarter and gave a 50-metre penalty. And well, I bet Graham Corns argued that one strongly.
Well, Graham, Glenelg seem to have more players at the fall of the ball, and one player that's certainly finding plenty of spaces is the veteran David Marshall.
Oh, what a game he's playing, David Marshall. He's playing on a wing, Kim, picked in the centre, but as we all know, Graham Corns plays a bit of chicanery, football chicanery I call it, with his side. He's got McDermott in the centre and Marshall on the wing, both playing top games. I just think the Bays at the moment, as you said, have numbers at the ball and they're irrepressible, their back line. It's just great. I mean, the backup of Seabohm and Elias aided by Hodges dropping marks that probably could have held, but I do believe the Dewey ball hasn't suited Scott Hodges so far.
No, he certainly hasn't held on to his marks. The game's about to recommence in the second term. It's back to Ken Cunningham.
Thanks very much, Kim. Umpire David Eddard about to start proceedings in the second quarter here. That quarter belonged to the Bays. They started superbly, first out of the blocks. Now it's Melican and Hines about to do battle. Typical Port Adelaide Glenelg game. Tap down towards McDermott. I don't think he's 100% fit tonight, McDermott. Taken by Liptak. The handball out towards Jason Bromelo, who played superbly in defence. Kicks towards the boundary line and out of play.
Gee, that was a magnificent handball for a youngster. He put that ball way out up in the air, way up in front, and that Bromelo just ran on it beautifully. That was very good stuff.
10 possessions to Liptak, over the top to Marshall. This kick is smothered. Paddled beautifully by Liptak. Back to Melican. Bromelo busted off the football, goes in again. appealed for holding the ball, but umpire Semler says no, it's my footy.
I have to disagree with Graham Cameron. I think Marshall is playing in the centre, not on the wing.
Semler. Melican. Gee, the Bays are killing him in the ruck through Melican. High ball. Seabourn the spoiler, out of play. So it's Glenelg 4-2, Port Adelaide 2-3.
We've had 1 minute of the second term here at Football Park. Conditions are ideal. The action on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Stringer to do the ruck work opposed to Melican. Christie yet to get a run. He's still in the bunker. The ball is put forward. Oh, Phelps is... Hodges fell over then, but he gets the lucky bounce and he has a chance to snap towards goal, but he's just not making the most of his opportunities tonight.
As I see it at this stage, 3 players have to lift for Port. That's Borlace, Williams and Brown.
4-2 plays 2-4. The ball kicked out wide, looking for Seabourn. Managed to just touch that before going over the boundary line. No, he didn't. It was a photo finish, and the umpire was in the correct place. So the free kick will be taken by Stringer on the outer side. He congested up forward, not a lot of movement. Hodges has Melican to contend with as well. He has front position though, but the spoiler is Melican. The ball comes to ground, works its way clear. Here's a chance now for Wanganini. Bangs a little one through. It's a goal.
Well, that ball came out of the pack, and you wouldn't want to give this youngster an opportunity in front of goals. He's ever so skillful. As we see the ball scooped out of the pack, straight to Wanganini. Beautifully done by the youngster, only a kid, 16 years of age, put it on the boot ever so quickly, knew where the goals were. Hodges was the player that got it out in the middle of that pack, and a goal, a very important one, to Port Adelaide. Back in the centre, 4 points the difference. Melican up high. McDermott thumps it on, taken by Bartlett, who's on top of Phillips at centre half forward. Simons, Fidge in front. Oh, it's got to be a free kick to Fidge. Not paid. Phelps was there. He was the culprit, but he goes towards the safety of the line.
Yes, Port a little fortunate there. I don't think umpire was in position to see that, and Phelps was a little lucky.
4-3 plays 3-4. Jeffrey Phelps kicks down the centre of the ground. Didn't quite get onto that one, setting himself Bow from behind, but front position in there was Borlace, couldn't hold on to it. Lyndon Bow taps it out to McDermott, back to Liptak. In turn he's searching for Marshall, who couldn't control it. Over the top there is Jamison. He can't tap the ball out, nor can Borlace. Williams tries to pick it up and extract it from the pack, but it's eventually Melican, who still can't control it. Bartlett tried to crash his way through. Marshall decides to soccer it off the ground, and hopefully Hodgman will pick it up cleanly, but he can't do that either due to the pace of Tregenza. Now the ball back to Fiachi. Desperate work out there, but the handball was good to fight Tregenza, and his handball was brilliant to find Abernathy, the veteran, the Port Adelaide star, as he pushes the ball forward with kick number 7, but it's all Glenelg back there. Thompson and Gibbs. Gibbs' handball finds Bromelo, and the Tigers should get out of trouble as that ball goes back towards Bow. Abernathy once more. Shrug the tackle. I tell you, those lace-up jumpers are an advantage as the ball goes forward. In there, Hodges, picked up by Gibbs, who'll change direction of play. In fact, he'll have to go back. There was no one home on the grandstand side, but he manages to find McDermott.
I couldn't believe it. The ball came in before and Hodges was doing up his bootlace. I couldn't believe it.
Kills is coaching from the commentary box. I'm learning a lot about foot tonight as Bartlett, strong point at centre half forward, takes a good mark. Bow is the player who takes the hand pass. Well, here's a chance for the Tigers. Maynard loose at half forward. Goes short to Fidge. Not a good kick. He normally hits the body with those. Fiachi, he's working hard in defence under enormous amount of pressure. Now here's a chance for young Mackay under the football. He's got to get a free kick, but he's got the mark. He's away. Goes to Stephen Williams. Looks for options. Goes long. Hodges can't take the mark. Cetre. Body's going in. Melican's there. And umpire Elliott will call for a bounce. I agree with your remark earlier, Curls. Both Semler and Elliott, the two umpires, allowing this game to flow, which is very good common sense umpiring.
And it certainly helps the players too.
Melican Opposed to Stringer once more. Stringer won the tap, but it goes back towards Bromelo. He gets a quick kick away. It should sit nicely for Marshall. He eventually takes possession, gets it out towards McDermott, who in turn pushes it out to Liptak. He was being held by Fiachi, but he did that well, George, and that's even better play as he gets back onto the left boot and executes that brilliantly to find Williams. Just starting to find a little bit more of the ball, Williams, but that kick was terrible, but it was well taken by Jason Bromelo. Just settling down play for a moment. Kick number 7. He's also had 4 handballs. That was good work by Hines. He was pushed underneath by McDermott, but still had the reach to take that football.
Good mark by David Hines. Kicks towards centre half forward. That's a strong mark by Elias. Didn't like the treatment he received from Hodges.
Becoming frustrated, Hodges.
Oops, gave him one to go on with too. It could have been a relayed free kick. It's on between Elias and Hodges. They want to go on with it. They'll have their private war behind players. Hodgie goes in. Could have got a free kick, Hodgie. Northeast handball is smothered. Chance for Borlays. Picks it up beautifully at centre wing. Goes short, puts Brown under the hammer. That's good stuff by Maynard. 150, and they'll get it.
A couple of few of the Port Adelaide players showing a little bit of frustration out there. Brown's one, and of course Hodge is the other. They've just got to keep their cool, otherwise the game will get away from them, but they'll come back.
Kick number 6 for Maynard. Bartlett has the set. Oh, Hines went high. Liptak roved it beautifully. His kick was smothered. Fidge, beautifully done by Fidge. Don't tell me he's gone. Oh, that is super football, Fidge. It's a goal.
Well, John Fidge, I think he's only had the 3 kicks and he's posted his 3rd goal. Have a look at this. He's pinned to the boundary, left forward pocket at the southern end of Football Park. He did that brilliantly and then just hooked it back on a very acute angle, and the goal umpire did not move at all. And he is having a very good game, John Fidge. He's kicked 3 goals. Port Adelaide 3-4, Glenelg 5-3. Centre field, and the Tigers only lead by 11 points. They've had far more of the football and they're playing the better football, but not truly indicated on the scoreboard at this stage. As Port Adelaide hanging in there, and that's certainly a trait of their game, as Brown tried to get the handball away, and he'll get a free kick. The handball over towards Rowan Smith. Smith, short pass, is not well directed. The mark's been taken by Thompson. Thompson puts it out wide looking for Liptak. Fiachi from behind. In there lending support is the captain McDermott. Liptak has a bit of space to work in. Kicks around his body. First there will be Northeast. Oh, good bump by Fidge. Hines in solidly. Rouvray's been quiet. In there is Setri. The handball back to Northeast. He normally throws it on the boot pretty quickly, but he was tackled high and he'll get a second chance with that kick.
Port are still in the game, and they're losing at fullback, they're losing at centre halfback, they're losing in the centre, and they're losing around the packs, they're losing in the ruck, and they're still in the game. I don't know where it's coming from.
Well, how in the hell are they, Kills? It's a good question. Kicks up towards centre wing, Northeast, over the top of the pack. Melican throws it away. Stolen by Williams, but great stuff by Melican. That's desperate football. Hodgie wobbles the kick towards half forward. Little George came through, but it went without the footy. Job up towards Fidge. I tell you what, you can say one thing, Kills, it's the Bays night tonight.
Well, that's what turns, that's what inspires a side like McDermott then was magnificent.
Kick by Fidge, offline, but I tell you what, Kills, it's great stuff by the Bays.
Maynard off. Yes, great football, and what a captain's example there. That was truly magnificent, McDermott.
Maynard off and Christian.
Yeah, we'll try and work out that tactic in a moment. Maynard was playing pretty well. That's a great mark taken by Bartlett.
He is just destroying Phillips at this stage.
It's not too often we witness that. His kick number 9 goes in. It's a poor one that goes straight to Abernathy. Port Adelaide under pressure, but they thrive in these situations. They trail by 12 points. Big lead taken by Gibbs. Mr. Casual. Short pass. Overlooking for Christie, and he drops what he should have taken. He'll need support. It's 4 against 1. Smith can't pick it up. Christie back in there, and he'll be happy with that dead heat.
I just can't work out Graham Corns' replacement there. They took a runner off and put a big ruckman on. I just can't work that one out.
Yeah, that's a fair point. Maynard was playing a pretty useful game. Perhaps he's received a knock. Gibbs looking for a free kick. He pushed the ball out. Umpire David Elliott wouldn't buy into that one. We've had 10 minutes into the second term. 5-4 plays 3-4. The action on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Hines won the tap. Over the top is Williams. In there, Setri gets the kick away. Opportunity now for Hutton. Takes a good chest mark. Plays on quickly. He's on the right boot. Puts it up high. Kicks well with either foot. Elias is there. So too is Bromelo, playing a great game. Now he has Simons. He taps it out towards that player. That's clever football. Now the handball wasn't good by Simons. They have the numbers though. Thompson shows great commitment. So too does Setri, and he wins the free kick.
Setri up towards centre half forward. Hodges coming out, almost a grab. That's about the 4th time tonight that's happened. Picked up by Jamison, goes out wide to Gibbs. Gibbs to centre wing, and the ball tickles out of play. Big crowd here at Football Park.
Just not Hodges' night tonight. He just doesn't quite know where to lead. He's leading in the wrong spots.
Melican. Well, golden opportunity for the Bays. McDermott goes to Hodges. To Hodgman, should I say, up towards centre half forward, Fridge in front. The spoiler was Phelps. Liptak read it beautifully, but the kick a little astray.
Gee, that Liptak is an impressive player. He's so patient. He waits for the fly and sits right in the bread and butter spot, which is in front of the pack, and he's picking up plenty of possessions.
6 kicks and 8 handballs. Liptak's been a good player. Abernathy brought that ball back into play. There's a host of Glenelg players there. Tregenza tried to get the handball away. Here's Bartha once more, fast emerging as one of the better players on the ground, if not the best. Fidge, the handball wasn't good. Hines out towards Fiachi. Fiachi touches the ball on the ground once, make that twice. He's looking for movement upfield. He'll want to kick pretty soon. Puts it down for the 3rd time. The chase by Liptak wasn't all that flash. Now the ball is up high. Elias front position. The tackle is high. Hodges can't believe it, but you've got to have front position. Playing a great game, Craig Elias. The ball comes out wide. The target is Jamison, and he's found that mark. Looking to move the ball on quickly. They lead by 13 points, the Tigers. Hines underneath. Big lead by Phelps, and he takes the mark. Well, Neil, back there in the forward lines, they have Christie, Rouvray and Fitch, so they've got 3 big men down there.
Yes, well, it may be the right move. Time will tell.
Maynard's waiting to come on boundary side here as we see Borlase with the footy. Wobbles it towards Stringer. It's stumped away by Bromelo. Borlase will go back in. Good strong body work by Stringer. Picked up by Hodgman. Kick number 4 towards Christie.
Oh, bad play.
Around his body, but straight to Greg Phillips, and he'll mark on his chest.
Yeah, poor play there by Christie. He should have given off.
Phillips, only his 2nd kick so far. Bartlett's had 10. Gee whiz. That's been a big, strong point for the Bays tonight. Centre half forward, that is for sure. As we see Rowan Smith goes towards Hodges. Can he mark? No, he can't. Good defensive work by Elias. In there working hard was Brown. Appeared to get a high one, yes. Good umpiring by umpire Sembler. Hodges, leave him alone. That's silly. Don't handle the umpire.
But you certainly won't get the next 50-50 free kick if you do that. It'll go against you every time.
The free kick to David Brown. Melican has now gone for a spell, and Peter Maynard back onto the ground, so perhaps he wanted to change his boots or something to that nature. David Brown, not a bad looking kick off the boot. Players set themselves. Back there though was Christie, and the ball was forced over the line. Port Adelaide 3-5, trailing Glenelg 5-5.
Yes, it's Glenelg's pace and their very good handball and short kicking that's hurting Port badly.
Elias goes out to the outer side. Marshall goes high, but in front was Thompson. Gave it beautifully away to McDermott towards half forward. Almost a free kick to the Bays. Rouvray into an open goal. He doesn't miss. It's home. That's goal number 6 to the Bays. 6-5, Port Adelaide 3-5. And I'll tell you what, it's a handy lead, Cools.
Well, the way they're playing, they're going to make it even bigger because they're just so dominant in so many positions. And Port are hanging in there, but they've got to start to find some winners in various positions, and they're just not finding this. Glenelg side they're so aggressive, they're quick, they're at the ball, and their delivery of the ball, particularly with their handball, is very, very good. And at the moment, they're just playing much better footy.
Now, I suppose there's 2 ways to look at this game. Port couldn't play any poorer, yet they only trail by 18 points, so they're still in this game. Hines, the tap goes back towards Williams. He kicks around his body. Rowan Smith there, opposed to Bromelo. The crumbs are taken by Lyndon Bowe. Kicks around his body, and he finds Jamison, who drops what he should have taken. This allows McKay to give the ball over towards Rowan Smith. He kicks around his body. Williams in there. Seabohm, McDermott over the top. Marshall at the bottom of the pack.
It's mistakes like that drop mark though by young Jamison that allows a side to get back into the game. Like that was an easy grade 7 mark, that.
Elliott puts ball to ground. Christie wins the tap quite easily. Brilliant tap to Hodgman. The handball didn't quite find Marshall.
I think it was there early. I think he played the second one. The first one was definitely there.
Well, Kim Hodgman's been quiet tonight. That's kick number 5. Tregenza in there, looking for the free kick. The ball now loose out to Jamison. Can he redeem himself? He puts it up high, feeds the meat in the sandwich. Rosonico front position. That's been kicked out on the full, and the umpire.
Off his hands, I thought.
We'll have a look at the replay and see how your eyes are here, Curls. You could be right.
His hands and his low didn't show.
I think I might be glad it didn't show. The ball comes down towards Rouvray. Kicked the last goal for the Tigers. Hooks this one back. Fidge opposed to Phelps. Let's see the body strength. Phelps did well then. Down towards Maynard. Snaps towards goal, and he kicked his first. No, that was touched off the boot, actually. So that's a let-off for the Pies at the 16-minute mark. Port Adelaide 3-5. Glenelg move along to 6-6.
Back with Phelps, comes towards the grandstand side, looking out there for Mackay. Can't take the mark, throws his body over the football. Rosonico goes in hard, but it's all Cetre it was. It's all the bays here through Jamison. There's a fit of the fumbles. It's tackled, that's almost holding the ball. It is. That's not good work by Jamison. He's a better player than that. He really is. Cetre towards centre wing. Gibbs, oh, gee.
Actually, they're starting to become a little bit arrogant, Glenelg. They're really getting control of this game.
Kick number 5 to Gibbs. Towards centre half forward it goes. Off hands, northeast. It's all the bays back here through Christie and he'll mark. Well, Port Adelaide is struggling to get past centre now. Back to Seabone. He goes out towards Simons and he takes a strong mark at centre wing out of side. Kick number 3. Well, luck's a fortune.
Yes, they're certainly having the run of the game tonight, Glenelg. Sometimes footy's a strange game, and people that watch it know. Sometimes things go your way, and tonight things are going Glenelg's way. The kicks out the packs are finding their players, and they're just in the right spot at the right time.
10 kicks and 5 handballs, 15 possessions for McDermott. Has he drilled it? He has. It's home. Goal number 7.
Well, people say that that's luck. The kick was rather wobbly. It perhaps wasn't meant for McDermott. Once again, he showed the advantage of having the front position. You can see that ball floating forward, left unattended. Poor old Greg Phillips coming in late, but no one picking up McDermott at all. And he's a very accurate kick. He makes the most of his possessions. He posted his first. Glenelg move along to 7-6. Port Adelaide 3-5.
Hodges to centre half forward, Kim, stringing a full.
Well, they had to do something. He was getting well and truly beaten by Elias. We're 18 and a half minutes into this second term. Brown, the handball to Hodges. Well, it's paid off to a certain extent already. It's a long kick forward, Stringer underneath, and Zeke Neal. That'd make a coach pretty happy, wouldn't it?
I thought Jack timed the move perfectly. Certainly paid dividends anyhow.
Yes, a kick to Hodges, the mark taken by Stringer. Not happy about Simon standing behind him, and I can assure you Tony Simons will be having a few words, but there's no way Stringer could miss from there. Port Adelaide stay in touch. They're on 4-5, Glenelg 7-6.
Actually, a coach has to have confidence in his players, to play the position they're selected in, but I guess you can only stay with them for so long, and I think John Cale knew that things weren't working well on the forward line, and so it was a pretty straightforward switch. He had to make it, and he just made it at the right time, it seems.
Back in the centre, 19 minutes gone in the second quarter. Good game of footy here at headquarters, and you're watching it on Nine's Wide World of Sports, live and exclusive.
Very interesting point here, though. Would Glenelg coach Graham Corns keep the same players on those players? He hasn't yet. He may well do.
Umpire Elliott about to start proceedings once again. Oh, Hines gets up high. Taken by Marshall. Back towards centre wing, but Tregenza here will take the mark. There's one thing you've got to admire about the Port Adelaide side. They never, ever give in. They'll fight right to the end. Phillips with a kick. Harkin up high. Thompson in front. Out wide to Marshall. Marshall runs his full 15 metres. Phillips with a chance. Can he get it back? Oh, he does it cleverly for a big man. Then goes short to Borlase. Borlase with a handball off to Tregenza. Port Adelaide go into attack once more. Stringer in front, Elias over the top. A charge now for Hutton around his body. But sadly the kick was just offline on the minor score.
Just a funny little feeling that Port are slowly getting back into this game. A couple of things in the last few seconds have indicated to me that Port are finding their feet.
7-6 plays 4-6. There's only 18 points in it. The ball put out towards Big Christie. Had the presence of mind to place the boot on the ball pretty quickly. Then Rouve was pushed in the back and must receive the free kick. Northeast the offender. So this promising youngster up on the grandstand wing. Kick number 4, puts it up. Rosonico goes straight to him. He takes the easy chest mark, and that was not well placed. And he appears to be limping a little bit, Rouve, so I don't think he's 100%. Hines gets the kick away. Let's see if Rouve can back himself into that one. Did so. Christie there, Northeast in strongly. And we'll have a throw in once more. We're 21 minutes into this second term. A crowd of about 15,000 people here at Football Park. And the Magpies aren't crowing at this stage. They trail by 18 points. McKay couldn't get the kick away. It went straight towards Seabohm. McDermott, great sidestepping action. The feed towards Liptak was good. The kick in long is direct, looking for Fidge. Couldn't take it. Mansell, he'll be too quick for Phillips. Puts the handball over the top towards Fidge. Fidge back on the left boot. Smothered by Phelps. Hodgman in there. Mansell, oh, beautiful play. And a great soccer through the middle by little Nigel.
Actually, Mansell's been kept pretty quiet by Abernathy after the first opening few minutes, but gee, he slipped around then. Of course, he used Mansell's asset as his pace and his ability to get around people, and he showed it there. It was great. And Abernathy, of course, he just hadn't got the pace to go with him.
It's kick 2, 22 minutes into the second quarter. The Tigers breathing space again. They lead by 4. But Port Adelaide will come back. Make no mistake about that. Good sides do, and they are a good side. Hines gets up high, so does Christie. Hines goes in again. Liptak taken by McKay, kicks out wide towards half forward. Hutton with an opportunity, but stolen by Bowe. He's been impressive in defence, Bowe. Bromelo has played well also. Tregenza, Simons. Players fall over the football, and umpire Semler will call for a bounce. Borlase and Bromelo having a bit of a push and a shove. And of course at 10:35 tonight, right after the footy, Robbo's World Tonight with all the world news you could possibly wish to hear and in fact see. Semler with the bounce. Gee, Wanganine's been quiet tonight. He's there with Borlase. And his body up towards full forward. Beautifully done by Tregenza. Covered a lot of territory then. Elias taps it out. Simons, the Bay's working it out of defence. And the kick finds Christie. Wasn't meant for Christie, but it found him anyway. And when you're hot, you're hot. Back towards centre wing. Phillips the spoiler. Hines. Oh, smothered by McDermott. Beautifully, the ball goes out of play.
He's playing a great game in close, McDermott, doing a tremendous amount of hard work as always, and of course his evaders and his ability to use the ball is great.
8-6 plays 4-6. Christie won the tap straight down to McDermott. That tap on was brilliant to find Seabohm. Puts it up high, but getting behind is David Hines. He was always going to be against it tonight, Hines, opposed to Melican and Christie, and I think it's working out that way as Gibbs punches the ball away. First in there was Tregenza, but it's taken by Setri. Marshall over the top. McKay in there. Now the ball tapped forward. Jamison dives on that. That was good football. Couldn't get the kick away effectively. Christie can as the ball goes back centre field. Port Adelaide have the numbers, but not the luck as it's taken by Maynard. Oh, clever work. The handball to Liptak. Lifts the eyes, fidges the target, but the kick's no good.
If there's one criticism of the kid's game is the fact that he perhaps his disposal is not what it could be, but he's only a kid and he's got a great deal of promise and ability. Fiachi. Short to Rowan Smith. Sweeping handball out to Abernathy. Long kick up towards full forward. Stringer coming out. Crashes the pack. Gibbs the crumbs. Oh, here's a chance for the Tigers now. Simons by himself at half back. Rosonico has given a free kick away and done it 2 or 3 times tonight.
Big test for young Tregenza tonight. For the first time the ball is coming back through his player for a long time, and he has to learn to check a little bit.
The ball put out wide. The target was Marshall. He couldn't take it. David Hines back there. The handball to northeast, in turn over the top towards Tregenza, the player Neil was talking about. In turn to northeast, backs up well. His kicking is pretty awkward action, but it's normally effective as he puts it forward looking for Hodges. He was underneath that. Well taken by Seabohm to Bow to Simons, who's working his way into the game and places that beautifully out to Jamison. The handball should go to Liptak and does. Now the youngster can run or he can use Hodgman. The pass wasn't good. It'll come off though with the handball back to Roubre. He'll have to use Liptak, decided against it. Drives it in long towards the goals. Fidge does the shepherding and it's 6 points. No, a free kick. Well, the shepherd was illegal. He was just holding on towards Phelps, and Phelps will take the free kick and place that out towards Fiachi, but the boundary line will win out.
Well, that's the old story. You got to play within the rules. You can bend them a bit, but you can't break them, and Fitch broke them there.
Umpire Elliott picked it up superbly. He really did. Phillips, Bartlett, taken by Jamison, back to Rouvray, and turned to Bartlett through his hands. Grabbed by Phillips. Illegally, says umpire Elliott. Bartlett on top at centre half forward in towards Fitch. It's going to find it. Strike me pink. Oh, when you are hot, you are hot. There's no doubt about that.
Lucky there. There was could have been a 50-metre there, but gee, young Bartlett, I'm very impressed with him. He's not only is he strong in the air, but his movement around the ground is just too much for Greg Phillips at this stage. The thing is, Greg normally plays back and a little loose, but because the pressure that Port normally apply to the players up the other end of the ground finds it easy for him, but they're coming through their half-forward line very well and with a lot of method.
Fidge, booted 3. Kick number 6, it's coming back, and that's his 4th. Unbelievable stuff, the Bay's on fire.
Yes, they're playing very well, and there's no question they've been struggling for a number of years now to have a focal point up forward. They pinned their hopes on Warren Ralph a few seasons ago, but he won the lottery and went back home. And John Fidge has certainly been the answer, and it would have been devastating for Glenelg if he had gone to the Sydney Swans this year. He posted his 4th kick. It was an educated kick, came back beautifully, and the Tigers are looking very good. They lead by 5 goals here at Football Park. 9-6 plays 4-6, a 5-goal advantage, 30 points. In fact, the Tigers have doubled the score.
And the big thing, of course, Malcolm was clearly on top in ruck. He's having a lovely spell, so he'll come out in the 3rd quarter very fresh.
Yes, and Christie's doing a pretty good job as he wins another tap, and it goes straight down to Liptak, who uses the run provided by Thompson, whose kick goes out wide looking for Marshall, who appears to be ruck roving now, so Graham Corns perhaps using 3 ruck rovers or 2 centremen.
Yeah, he's just having a rest up in the forward pocket. He got a little bit tired there, David, a fraction back, and wisely Coach Graham Corns just give him a bit of a breather. Maynard's playing the centre.
We've had 3 minutes of time on in this second term. The ball tapped down brilliantly by Bartlett to McDermott, but his kick has been marked by Northeast. Plays on quickly, placed himself under pressure. Play on the call, he was lucky to get out of that. George in there to lend support. Maybe they're not out of it yet, the Pies, as Liptak tries to pick up the ball. That was held to him, and Semler will bounce. 9-6 plays 4-6. Only be about 30 seconds remaining in this term. Still time for the Tigers to get another one on the board. Bartlett won the tap. McDermott gets the kick away. One-on-one battle here, taken by Fidge. Oh, Roubre should have taken that. Backing up his Mansell. He's kicked 2. He sends his kick forward, but Fiachi there couldn't take the mark. Phillips in to lend support. The handball will go over the top towards Abernathy, who in turn puts it up high. McKay front position. The spoiler is Jamison. Maynard there. Phelps as well, as Maynard taps it back to Bow. There's still a chance, the Tigers. Rowan Smith underneath, Mansell from the side. Liptak took the crumbs. Oh, Marshall, he's dangerous. Have a look at that for a kick. He's booted his 2nd.
And that, I believe, is from Graham Campbell's impossible angle, is that right? But that was a magnificent goal. Well, the players that we spoke about earlier, Port had to find a lift in, and that was Williams. Borlase, I haven't signed him. I don't know, he might even be off the ground. I haven't seen him. And Brown. They're just not contributing at all, and they've been the players in the last few weeks that have been not carrying Port, but giving them heaps of drive, and they're just not getting the work from the players that have been providing it for them in recent weeks.
Well, a huge task now for Port Adelaide. They trail by 6 goals. Gee whiz, 29, almost 30 minutes gone in this second quarter. Down goes the bounce. Rowan Smith, and there's the siren. In the zone in half-time with Glenelg 10 goals, 66, Port Adelaide 4-6. A margin there of 6 goals in favour of the Tigers. and you're watching this game on Nine's Wide World of Sports live from Footy Park.
Half-time here at Football Park, and the scoreboard looks pretty good for Tigers supporters. They're on 10 goals, 6-66, leading Port Adelaide 4 goals, 6-30. And looking at the goal scorers, and John Fidge, he's kicked 4, Mansell Marshall 2 apiece, Rouvray and McDermott 1 each. And looking for Port Adelaide, it's a bit sad and sorry at the moment. Setri, Williams, Wanganede and Stringer all 1 goal each. Joining Ken Cunningham now on the host position is umpiring director Peter Mead.
Peter, thanks for joining us, and there's been a great deal of controversy over the past week concerning the men in white, particularly the fact that runners are going out to the umpires during a game and having a few words. What's your reaction to that?
Well, Ken, I think it's basically unnecessary as far as the runners are concerned. I think they've lost track of their real responsibility, and that is to take messages to their players. And I think a couple of them have overstepped the mark in recent weeks. And we really don't think it's the way to communicate with the umpires and really get their message through.
Well, Peter, what have you instructed the umpires to do when it does happen?
Well, to use a little bit of common sense and maybe a bit of tolerance, but at times that's a bit difficult.
Well, Peter, how do you feel about the fact that it's been reported that a certain umpire told a runner to sort of, go somewhere?
Well, he probably did, Ken, but I don't know that the media reported what the runner said to the umpire. And I think what goes on stays out there, and I'm not going to change my instruction. If the runners insist on having an abusive slinging match with the umpires, they'll also receive some back.
Well, Peter, will the board bring it up to the league's notice and sort of say, hey, we want this stopped or not?
Well, I think there will be a general directive that the runners are there for the specific use of their coaches, and that's really where it should be. There'll be a general instruction go out to the clubs, I'd say, in the next 24 hours on that matter.
Peter, what about also the fact that we've seen some coaches, as was the case on Sunday, go to the umpires, attempt to speak to them as they're leaving the ground after the game? How do you feel about that, as we see Kevin Morris here?
I don't see that there's a major problem with that, although I think there's probably a better place to do it, and I think Kevin might have been better served to have a talk to the umpires in the race, and we've got no objection at all to that happening.
What about that it could lead to sort of an altercation between a coach and an umpire? You'd obviously be concerned about that, surely.
Oh, sure, but I think it perhaps is even more of a problem if it's done in front of a crowd, and it probably can incite a little bit more reaction that way. And I think most of the time, there's a bit of emotion involved, but coaches are fairly genuine and hopefully honest with the performance of their players as well as the umpires. And we've got no problem if they talk to them after the game in the race, or perhaps after they've changed.
Meaty, of course, the umpires have copped a bit of flack over recent weeks. How do you feel about the standard at the moment? Are you happy with the way they're performing?
Oh yeah, look, Ken, it's early days, and I think the Foundation Cup, the umpiring standard's been pretty good. I mean, we've used a lot of umpires, and to date I don't see that there's a major drama. There's been an isolated incident or two, but you guys are just drumming it up. And
a few grey hairs there, Meaty.
Oh.
Hey, a few grey hairs there, also.
I'm getting as close to you, mate. Nearly as close. But no, it's been pretty good.
Peter, thanks for joining us, and good luck for the remainder of the year. Umpiring director Peter Mead, back shortly.
storming in. Big leg. What a mark. Incredible mark.
Certainly a fantastic mark there by Richard Champion, and our special guest commentator Neil Curley wasn't impressed with that mark at all, Kim, I can tell you.
No, well, I think he probably wasn't impressed because Richard's life wasn't at risk, so that'd be why.
Well, the big game so far, it's been a surprise from my point of view, Kim, to see the way that the Bays have controlled this game up until half-time.
Yeah, well, I thought they'd win, Ken, so I can't really agree with you. I'd probably have to say you're a
lead
poor
by
judge
6 at
this
half-time,
stage.
though?
No, I didn't expect that, and they have had control of the game. And, you know, this is a big test for Port Adelaide now. They really genuinely have their backs to the wall, and you can't win every game, but I expect them to fight back a bit.
Yeah, some of their on-ball players, Port Adelaide on-ball players, haven't fired tonight. Young Wanganeen really can't get into the game, can he?
No, well, he doesn't enjoy the luxury of being anonymous anymore. He's recognised as a class player, and people are more aware of him now, and he won't get the freedom he had in his first few runs in the league football. And he managed to get a goal then when the ball worked its way free, but he receives a lot more attention now, and that's something he'll have to cope with as he progresses in his football.
And there's been one or two undisciplined acts by Port Adelaide players. David Brown giving away a 50-metre penalty kick. That wouldn't have pleased John Cale.
No, you just can't afford to do it, and Peter Maynard is a past master of making situations look a lot worse than what they are, but there was certainly something there, and it was called frustration, and he paid the ultimate penalty, which was 50 metres.
Gee, John Fitch, what an asset he's been for the Bays, Kim. His body strength is unbelievable, really.
Well, we mentioned through the call they've been looking for a focal point, and he certainly provided that. This was clever work. The feature of his game is his strength and his marking, but he showed some great ground sense then, and apart from that, very good goal sense.
And what about Mansell of the Bays? He's a player that makes the most of his opportunities.
Well, as Neil mentioned earlier, little Nigel's greatest asset is his pace and his ability to read the ball well and change direction quickly. And that's what he did there, and he showed a little bit of soccer talent as well as he hooked that one back through the middle.
And he'd love that too, young Nigel. He'd love
Well, he's a bit of a character and he's played quite well.
OK, we'll talk about a man who tipped the Bays. That, of course, was Graham Campbell. He now talks to Port Adelaide captain Russell Johnson.
Well, Ken, so far so good with the Bays. I never thought in 1,000 years they'd be 6 goals in front at half-time. And they will come back, Port, no question. It's my pleasure to have Port skipper Russell Johnston. Russ not playing tonight. Any real problem, like apart from a week or two?
Oh, no, I've got a bit of a foot injury. I should be right the game after the North game. I don't know who we play yet, but it'll be a couple of weeks, maybe 3.
Well, Russ, congratulations are in order. It hasn't been a well-publicised event. You won the best and fairest last year at Port.
Oh, yeah, that was pretty good. That was last year, though. This is this year.
And your first one.
Yeah,
you were telling me off camera.
Yeah.
Well done, big fella, because you deserve that after a couple of traumas the previous year.
Yeah.
Tonight, it's not looking good. Can you get out of it?
Oh, well, I'm sure Jack's got a few well-chosen words down there at the moment. You know, I mean, that's the position. You know, we're going for top spot here. So,
sure.
I mean, I'm sure the boys will have their head down the second half, and you know, Port can sometimes come out with a good third quarter. So we'll see what happens.
Well, give us a good oil on how Jack approaches a 6-goal deficit. Hasn't happened that often. Hasn't happened that often ever.
Well,
how does he approach it? Does he rant and rave or?
Well, generally, when I get down there, when we get in at half time, he's got us out in the larger room, but he's got us in the small room there all together half time tonight. So, you know, I mean, he's had a few words to him, and you know, they've got to pull themselves together.
Right. Now, it was noticeable the first quarter that your star full forward, Scott Hodges, dropped about 4 marks. Do you find the Dewey ball hard to handle personally in the early part of a game?
Oh, I don't like the yellow ball and the Dewey, but I don't think it's really Dewey tonight. I don't think Hodgie was right on his game, you know. He can still be a good player for us at centre forward yet.
Right. Does the ball dry out as the game gets on?
Night games?
Yes.
All depends whether it's rained or not. No,
no, I mean, not like this.
I don't think the ball handling tonight should be a problem. I think every league player should be able to handle the ball cleanly.
Rush, you've had a rotten draw so far, Port. Just looking at it, you had Central at Elizabeth, normally a real tough one. It wasn't this year.
Yeah,
then Norwood here last Wednesday, and fronting up again Monday night against the Bays.
Yeah, you know, the Bays played last Wednesday as well. Well,
sure.
I suppose they played Sturt, we played Norwood, but you know, it's been a bit of a tough draw. I mean, we're not complaining at all because we'd rather beat them at full strength anyway.
Sure.
Graham.
Well, Russell, can they get out of it? That was my original question.
You know, like,
put you on the spot.
Well, like Kim Dillon says, it's not over till the fat lady sings. So,
but she's warbling her throat at the moment, Russ. She's starting to clear her throat a little, isn't she?
Oh, yeah. No, we must be still a bit of a chance.
Yep.
And I mean, we've got good players on our side. I mean, the Bays are playing well. We've been breaking down a bit at centre forward, but, you know, there's still a long way to go yet.
Sure. Russ, good luck to you the rest of the year and to the club.
Thanks, Graham. Thanks very much.
Welcome back to Football Park. Looking at the earlier game played tonight in the reserves. Glenelg, a big win there, 18-19. Defeated Port Adelaide 6-13, a margin of 78 points. That was the earlier game played tonight. And of course, talking about the reserves here at Football Park on Saturday, watch this magnificent mark by Brett Minchington of the Dogs.
Out. Robertson goes forward with the left boot, covers a bit of distance. Minchington flies off. What a big lead. What a beauty.
And Brian, I think he's a player with a lot of ability. Let's look at this one more time. Have a look at that for a leap. Oh, that was a brilliant mark. It really was. And I think he's most unlucky not to be in the scene, is he?
Kel's not a bad grab, that.
Yeah, pity it was only in the reserves.
Well, Kels, if you were John Cale, what would you do at halftime? What would you have said to the players and what would you do now?
Well, he could have done the old Jack Dyer trick, I guess, but I don't think he would have done that. Well, he'd naturally be very angry, and he's entitled to be. A lot of looseness by his players. They're not working hard enough, and I guess he'd have to assess the game and, in his eyes and his opinion, and just work on the players that aren't contributing. And of course, he's got a fair bit of work to do because there's not too many. I see Fiarchi's their only winner at this stage, and not by much. They've just got so many players that are not contributing, are not winning their position. And when you're faced with that situation as a coach, it's very difficult to know where to start. But he just has to assess the situation, talk to his players as a group, and then individualise a little bit and just try and get more out of those players.
Well, obviously, Kelsey needs a lot more from his on-ball players in the square.
Oh, yeah, well, and also, like centre-half back, Greg Phillips in real trouble. His full-back's is a problem. His centre-half forward and full-forward's a problem. He's got problems all over the ground, and I just don't know how Port are going to get out. Mind you, we saw them here last year in the Father's Day match against North.
Yep.
In a similar position, they came out and they blitzed North. Now, I don't think they'll blitz this side because Glenelg got too many courageous and aggressive players out there, and they're playing well. And I don't think Port are going to blitz this side. I think Glenelg will go on with it.
Well, they've got a magnificent defence, the Bays, Kelson, and the big surprise packet, of course, has been the form of Alan Bartlett, centre-half forward on Greg Phillips tonight.
Yes, Greg's having a real problem there, and Bartlett's a dominant player. Plus the likes of, I see Melican as a dominant player, Elas is a dominant player, McDermott, Marshall, both dominant players. Young Liptak's playing well, Seabone's playing well. Like, the list just goes on and on.
What about the rucks? We've seen Melican and Christie come onto the ground. Melican start well. There aren't too many options there, Kells, for Port Adelaide.
Well, Hines is their only true ruckman,
That's right.
And he's just got to try and get back into the game. And I can't see how he's going to beat Melican. Melican's rucking too well and jumping too high.
All right, well, that's Neil Kelly's assessment at half-time. Let's now take you back to Kimberlin for the exciting third quarter.
Thanks very much, Ken, and let's hope it is exciting. 15,000 people plus here at Football Park. Well, that's my estimation. And the scoreboard reads 10-6 to 4-6. The Tigers leading by 36 points. Umpires officiating Stephen Semler with David Elliott. And there's a man that's had his work cut out for him this evening, David Hines. He's giving away height to Melican and Christie. And whilst he's trying pretty hard, that man on screen has the advantage at the moment. 66 points, plays 30. The second half about to begin. This could be do or die for the Magpies. Hines opposed to Melican. Melican wins the tap. It goes out towards Liptak. Trying to kick it off the ground with Jamison. Smith in there, picked up by Liptak. Gets a rather ordinary kick away, but it was quite effective as it found Mansell, who gets it over towards Bow. His kick around his body, and that ball was taken well by George Fiarchi, very low to the ground. Gets a little bit of a push. Kick number 9 coming up for Fiarchi. Playing out of his customary back pocket. Drives it in, and the mark's been taken by Abernathy. Abernathy with kick number 12. Puts it up high and long. Back there is Gibbs using his body. Well, that's a beautiful mark taken by Ross Gibbs, and he's finding a little bit of touch tonight.
Gibbs gets a handball off. We see that fine mark by Gibbs, but that's been messed up by the Bays, and the ball is forced out of play.
Abernathy has a checking roll on Marshall, so John Cale has made some moves.
Williams is also on for Port Adelaide. I think he's gone to half forward as Stringer, and Melican taken by Seabone around his body. Coming through with Stragenza having one arm held, and that'll be holding the ball, or throw whatever you like. But the Bays have the football through Bromelo. Kicks up towards half forward. Thumped on Fiarchi. As Curls made the point at half time, Port Adelaide probably their only winner. Handballs off to Rosonico. Transfers play towards the grandstand side. North East used the body cleverly, then went without the foot. He's got a second opportunity. He'll be run down by Rouvray. North East goes in again, soccers off the ground towards Wanganeen. He should get a free kick, not paid. Stringer through his legs. Wanganeen working hard, a high tackle, and finally wins the free kick. He persevered, the kid, he really did. From half forward right, into the pocket he goes short to Rowan Smith, who found the space. Now what can Port Adelaide do? They need goals badly. Hodges has gone back to full forward. He was moved to centre half forward in the third quarter. Brown off the ground. Oh, here's a golden opportunity. Hutton under the football and marks.
As I see it, Ken, Port Adelaide have to kick about 3 to 4 goals in the first 10 to 12 minutes. If they don't do that, they're not back in the game.
Well, here's an opportunity for that to be one of them, Curls. Kick by Hutton. Don't tell me he's missed. Has he got it? No, he's got it. Just snuck it in. So a very important goal there to Hutton and to Port Adelaide.
No, the only move, as I see it at this stage, is Abernathy to the centre on Marshall. Williams will play a ruck roving role, changing with Rowan Smith, I would think, with Brown and Wanganeen the Rovers. But Port now have to just rely on their old tradition and just a little bit of good old football character and determination.
They trail now by only 30 points, kicking a goal before the 3-minute mark of this third term. David Elliott with the football. Once more it will be Melican opposed to Hines. The tap goes down towards Brown, couldn't take it, stolen by Williams as he zigzags his way through the pack. The handball goes to Phillips, the kick out wide to Smith. They need him, he couldn't take that. Mind you, it wasn't easy. Hutton in there, he kicked the last goal for the Magpies as he hooks it back around his body. That should sit nicely for Robbie Thompson. A little bit slippery though. Gets the handball over towards Bowe, who hooks that around his body. And there's a strong mark taken by Chris McDermott. Stood his ground well.
It'd be nice if you could pick these fellas up in chemist shops. What a player.
Comment Neil Curley as the ball is put forward. Out towards Liptak. Geez, read the ball well off the pack tonight. Front position is Phelps. Fidge tries to soccer it off the ground. In there is Phelps working hard. North East couldn't take it. Marshall kicks one back around his body and he finds Fidge.
This is what amazed me, this boy Fidge. He just sees the movement so well. Like his movement then away from the pack. When he saw Marshall get the ball, he knew exactly where the ball was going to go, and there he was, 2 or 3 or 4 yards clear.
John Fidge has kicked 4 goals, 2 in the first quarter, 2 in the second. And lining up for his 5th goal with kick number 7. Will only be about 15 to 20 metres out. He's normally pretty accurate, and he's kicked 5 goals for the match.
Well, that's not what Port Adelaide wanted, I can tell you. And Fidge has had a tremendous season so far, their leading goal kicker. The kick came from Marshall around his body. Perhaps a little fortunate, but Fidge had made the correct position and he kicked accurately. And now, of course, the Bays kick away to lead by 6 goals, and the Bays work rate has been tremendous. It really has. Back in the centre, umpire David Elliott. About to start proceedings once again. Melican, Hines. Melican with a tap, but it's taken by Brown. Back towards half forward. Wanganeen did it cleverly, got it over the top, then picked it up superbly. Gave the handball to Tregenza. Tregenza up towards full forward into the pocket. There is Thompson and forces the ball out of play.
Actually, Port Adelaide players are roving to Melican's ruck work now. They've picked him up twice now in the last 2 centre bounces, and we keep saying that Port Adelaide will come back and fight. Well, I think Graham Corns in his few years at Glenelg has instilled a tremendous fighting spirit in the Glenelg side, and they won't give in.
Talking about Graham Corns, there he is with Wayne Stringer with his hand to his face. Melican down to Liptak. Gee, this kid's a good player. He really is. Great vision. The Bowe is the running player. Not a good kick by Bowe. Phillips goes in. Can't do much with the footy. Hasn't been a good night for the big fella tonight. Hines has the football. Kicks it high. Read beautifully by Wanganeen. Got the handball over to Brown. Brown with a long kick up towards full forward. Oh, great mark. Elias strong. Elias has been paid the mark. That was a top mark.
Well, this boy hasn't made a mistake tonight, except nearly there.
Elias now transfer the play. To Simons, goes to lip tack. This kid's covering plenty of territory. 23rd possession, if you don't mind. Back in the centre, kicked off the ground by McDermott, goes towards half forward, but it's northeast to mark. Waste no time, plays on quickly up towards Stringer. There is Melican. Here's a chance now for Rowan Smith. Chips one short to Williams and finds that player. Williams about 30 metres from goal, should go back and give a long one. Does so as he kicked the goal. He has an important one to the Maggies.
Yeah, Stephen Williams, a very accurate kick. So too was the man that passed it to him, Rowan Smith. And Williams took the ball. He was about 40 metres out and he realised the goal was unprotected. He turned around, has a quick look there, rushes back, gets on with the job pretty casually in the end, but he's a very balanced player and that went straight through for his second goal. And Port Adelaide still stay in touch on 6-6, Glenelg 11-6. Eight minutes into the third term, 42 points placed 72. The difference 30 points once more. And a Port Adelaide player has gone into the square too early. The free kick to Melican, not what the Pies needed. He puts it out wide, fidges the target up high. Phillips just stood there, but he came out with the football and farms out a big left-handed handball, but Jamison first there. Tackled by Hutton. McDermott there tackled. Now stolen by McKay. The handball goes over towards Smith. Tricky handball back over the top to Foster, in fact it is, who's on the ground. He was the player that handballed to Smith. Solid clash of bodies there. Bromelo picks up the football and pushes it out wide and it's well dispatched. Jamison couldn't take it. Foster working his way into the game pretty quickly. The boundary line wins out and we'll have a throw in on the outer side. The action on 9's Wide World of Sports. The ball is tapped down towards Hodgman. He's been quite player tonight. Only had the 6 kicks as Bartlett punches that one towards the boundary line.
Well, we anticipated Melican would come out fresh. He's jumping all over the Port rucks and they've just got to try and get that ruck initiative away from them.
Stringer this time against Christie. Thumps the ball, taken by Brown, hooks it back. Beautifully put. Chance for Williams now. Back towards Borlase, being harassed by Seabone, and the ball goes out of play. It's Port Adelaide into attack. 8 minutes into the third quarter. 11-6, Port 6-6. Watching it on 9's Wide World of Sports. A chance for McDermott. He thumps the ball out of play, out of side. 9 minutes gone, third quarter. Crowd here at Footy Park, John Cale in the stand. It's a worried man at the moment, and that's understandable. Stringer, Melican. Players working hard for possession. Free kick has been picked out. It'll go the way of Abernethy. 13th kick. In towards centre half forward it goes. Hodges under the football. Elias. Stephen Williams around his body. Tregenza. Wanganeen there. Appeals for holding the ball. Tapped out towards Elias. He's busted off the ball. A chance now for Williams. Can he pick it up? He can't. Gets the handball, but it's taken by Bowe. And away they go, the Bays.
The kick out wide to the outer side, but Porter back in with a chance as the mark is taken by Paul Williams. So Cale's made a few moves, Foster's onto the ground, so too is Williams, but that is very indirect football and they paid dearly for that.
Yes, but it was only a yard too long, the kick. There was nothing wrong with the attempt, it's just that he didn't do it right.
Gee, he would have been very deep in that outer pocket. The ball at the back of the pack. The handball goes back out now towards Abernathy. Kicks towards goal. The accuracy not there. And Port Adelaide move on to 6-7. Glenelg 11-6.
Done a good job, Abernathy in the centre. He's picking up more ball than Marshall, and it's a good move so far. But I just can't work out. They ran Maynard off again. He's back on the game again now.
The kick out towards Thompson. He stood his ground and took a good mark. It's a much improved player, Robbie Thompson. 5 kicks and 3 handballs. He provides plenty of run off that back line. Punches out a kick. It's not well directed. It goes straight to David Hines. Thinks about Greg Phillips, then perhaps thinks he's not the most mobile player. Decides to drop in a short pass, which is well dispatched to find Williams. Plays on quickly. The kick is low. Not a good one. They've made it hard for Hodges on a number of occasions tonight. This allows his opponent in Elias to shrug the tackle. Handball out towards Gibbs. It buys a little bit of time. That was untidy by Brown as he kicked the leg out. The mark's been dropped by Jamison. He's had a bit of trouble tonight holding on to the football. This man didn't, and that's Lyndon Bowe.
Lyndon Bowe has McDermott loose, just on the defensive side of centre. 15 kicks and 8 handballs. It's 23 possessions for the game so far. Off hands, read superbly by young Liptak. Kicks towards centre half forward. Bartlett loses the football, taken by the big man. He's man mountain, that's Greg Phillips. Back towards centre half forward, but it's Melican, who's played very well tonight for the Bays. 22 headouts has been accredited to Melican as he goes towards Bartlett. Thumped away, a chance now for Wanganeen. Over the top to Brown, puts him under the hammer a little bit, back towards Wanganeen. He'll get a free kick. Good umpiring. It was there. Plain as day. Gee, it's been a good exhibition by these two umpires tonight. There you see the tag coming from Bartlett. There it is. The left hand goes around the body, short in towards Hodges. Gee, a high tackle on Brown. Well, it hasn't been Scotty Hodges' night tonight, that's for sure.
But he's just going about his game in the wrong manner. I just can't quite work out. Like 2 weeks ago, I saw the boy. He was absolutely sensational. I think he is carrying a leg, but he's, you know, that wouldn't have helped it either. But he just seems to be going about his footy in the wrong style tonight.
David Brown with a chance for the Maggies. He'll get the distance. He'll get the accuracy. It is home.
Well, they're fighting back, Port, as we anticipated they would. And the two moves that John Cale's made, or the one move, that's Williams and Abernathy. They're both coming strongly into the game. Abernathy's got control of the centre, and Williams is giving them drive around the ball, and Wagney and Brown have both picked their games up. Just needs Borlace now to lift from Hines, and they could whittle this lead back a bit.
7-7, plays 11-6. We've had 13 minutes of the third term. I'll tell you one thing, if Port Adelaide do get back into this game, the crowd will become a little more vocal here at Football Park. The action on 9's Wide World of Sports. And Melican wins that tap, but once more, the free kick will go to Melican. A Port player going into the square too early, and a strong mark taken by Phillips. Phillips puts out wide to Borlace. That's his second kick. Daisy should pick it up. 7th kick. The handball goes over towards Brown. Brown hooks that one back. They need a grab up forward, but Elias is playing a great game. Put forward by Thompson. Here's a chance. Simons tried to tap it back out towards Bromelo. Over the top of the ball is Williams. Has the support there of Tregenza, uses that player, runs back into trouble, but gets the kick away. Back there, Elias, picked up brilliantly by Williams. There's goal number 3, and they're back the Pies.
Well, I've said it a million times, and I'll say it again. They won't lie down, the Pies. They never do. Trailing by 6 goals at half-time. They're back in business. They're down by less than 3 now. Stephen Williams, who'd been well held in the first half, coming into the game. As Kells has said, Brown, Wanganeen have lifted their game, and Abernathy in the middle. Great comeback by the Pies. Gee, what a game of football it is here at headquarters. You're watching it live on 9's Wide World of Sports. The Maggies are back in this game. It's heavy work in the square, but a free kick has been paid to the Tigers. It's a super game of football. McDermott from the middle. 16th kick to McDermott. Goes towards half forward. Rosonico there. Has the run of the football. Taps it out. Over towards Borlace. Oh, the handball is smothered. They had the loose player. Foster out there. Back to Borlace. They've got the footy again. This is Phelps from half back towards half forward. Looking for Wanganeen. There is Gibbs. Oh, fine mark, Gibbs. Play on as the call was touched, obviously. Taken by Wanganeen. He'll get a free kick. Holding the man. That's right. Wanganeen the free kick. And the Port Adelaide supporters come alive. Kick number 5 into the pocket. Hodges is there. He's had a shocker tonight. Can he make amends? He's working hard. Gets the handball back. A chance for Brown now. In there is Simons. Brown, was he pushed? No. Simons working hard. Kicks the ball towards the bandit on, and it trickles out of play. Kills, what a great game.
Well, it's shaping that way, and Phillips, of course, has gotten control at centre half back, and that's a big thing for the Magpies.
Throw in left forward pocket, the southern end of Football Park. Williams pushed it forward. Over the top there was Hodges. Rowan Smith a chance, but Jamison quite content to see that ball go out of play.
And if Phillips does continue to stay on top, you'll see the Port runners feeding off him, and that's when they're dangerous.
That Port Adelaide lady certainly worked up a bit of a fever over this game, looking very hot as Rowan Smith takes the ball, the handball over to Wanganeen. Oh, he fumbled. Gets around though, gets the kick towards goal. It's just offline though, and it goes through for a point. And the Pies move along to 8 goals 8, trailing Glenelg 11-6. So it is 17 scoring shots to Glenelg and 16 to Port Adelaide. As the short pass goes out towards Seabohm, will have time to touch it on the ground if he so desires. Decides to kick. It's a wobbly one towards Thompson. Looks for the free kick and wins it. Fiacci, the offender, but George shows great experience as he moves down ground. There's 50 metres as the ball was left behind, and Glenelg will be looking to steady.
And they're making a change. Brown, who must be injured, is coming off, and Century, of course, is going on to replace him. And also Chingwigan for Hodgman.
The ball put forward, up high. No, in fact, the ball will have to go back. And I think the crucial one there, Neil, is the fact that Chigwidden comes onto the ground, because Hodgie hasn't looked 100% tonight.
Well, Chigwigan will certainly give them some bite. They're losing a very good player in Brown. He was just starting to find a bit of form.
The kick up towards full forward, looking for Fitch, tapped away. Fiacci can't do it. Maynard with a tackle, pulled off the football. Then there was Liptak. Foster around his body. He's tacked the ball with great aggression since coming onto the ground. Here's a chance for Tregenza. He'll use his pace. He's got some skill, this kid. Chipped one over the top to Stephen Williams. Away the Pies go. Through half forward. Nobody home though. Williams runs through the 50-metre line. Can he kick a goal? Up towards full forward. It's coming back, but not enough. And in fact, just through for a minor score. Gee, it's scintillating stuff, Cool.
Yeah, a little bit fortunate there. I thought Stringer should have been free kick there. He was holding Seabohm about 20 yards away from the runner, and but good footy by Port Adelaide. They're coming back. Gibbs,
one of the best kicks in the game, puts it to the outer side. Oh, but Port have the numbers, and a big grab by Ball Ace, and it's been paid. Well, as Neil mentioned, they need this man to come into the game. He had a good first term. He's been quiet since. And Glenelg under pressure all of a sudden. Kick number 8 for Ball Ace. Hodges couldn't take it again. Picked up by Gibbs. This time it's to the grandstand side, and Tregenza will have too much pace. It sits beautifully. The pressure back on Simons now. The handball to Fiacci. The left foot kick forwards, a wobbly one, and he didn't lift the eyes and went straight to Elias.
Big test now for the Glenelg youngsters.
As Jamison kicks out wide, but gee whiz, it's all Port Adelaide here. A chance for Hines. He's got a month in which to pick up the football. There's 3 Port Adelaide to 1 Bay. Up they go, kicks back towards centre half forward. It may be touched off the boot. Setri over there, dropped it. Taken by Gibbs. The Bay's out of defence. Back towards the centre of the ground. Oh, Barton! What a mark! He played on, gets a handball out to Maynard. Maynard over the top, a chance for Rouvray. Sport by North East. In comes Fedge. Oh, the handball's wild, but Maynard comes in. He's tackled. Goes in Rouvray. He goes out. Back towards Maynard. Tremendous stuff at the moment. Maynard hits a brick wall. A high tackle. Strike me pink. That's the only mistake of the night.
Well, it was a bad luck there. I thought Tregenza did it perfectly. That was a good tackle, and it was just bad luck.
Yeah, not a good decision, that one, as the ball goes forward for the Tigers. A lot more desperation and urgency coming into this game now as Ball Ace takes another timely mark. Kick number 9 to the outer side. The target is Abernathy, and he has had the better of Marshall in this third term. Kick number 15 for the Port Adelaide champ as he pushes it out wide. They're setting up the loose men now. They're starting to run the Magpies. Hutton drives it into centre half forward. Thompson couldn't control it, nor could Hodges. Elias in there. Went the wrong way, went back into Setri. The goal is unprotected. The free kick's been picked out, and it will go the way of Craig Elias, the Glenelg full back.
This is what we said early before the game started, that there'll be a big test for these Glenelg youngsters tonight.
That kick wasn't good by Elias. Stringer in there, can't get the handball away. Over the top, cleverly tapped back by Wanganeen. Now Ball Ace picks it up, puts it out wide with kick number 10. He finds Hutton, who's coming into the ground. Back to Ball Ace. The handball over the top. Well done by Williams. Back to Hutton. They've got the numbers at the fall of the ball as Setri goes towards goal, but they couldn't capitalise on that opportunity as the ball goes out of play on the full.
They've got to grab those opportunities because they just can't afford to let the Glenelg settle. Glenelg will rattle at the moment.
15 points in front, the Tigers. Back towards the grandstand side. A chance for Hines. Can't pick up the football and the ball goes out of play. This crowd here at Football Park loving every minute of this game, and you're seeing it live on Lions Wide World of Sports. It's a beauty. Melican. Push Stringer under the football. Melican goes in again. Chigwidden just under the ground. Melican, a good handball. Finds Marshall, who's been hurled in this third quarter. Up high went Bartlett, a mile too early. Fiacci with the crumbs. He'll get the handball out. Foster kicks in, beautifully smothered by McDermott.
Back in goes Maynard. Out goes McDermott with a handball to Liptak, to Rouvray. They're working hard, the bays. Northeast goes in. Oh, that's play on is the call. And the ball goes out of play. I thought for one moment he's going to ping the Port Adelaide player for in the back.
Great hard football. This is what football's all about. Two sides out there with every player giving their absolute utmost.
David Brown testing his leg outside the boundary line. He may be coming back on shortly. The ball is put wide out to Williams, who's brilliant handball. He's come into the game in this third term, Williams. Wanganeen puts it out. Hodges finally held one. In fact, that is his first mark of the game as the crowd applaud the effort. Kick number 3. Outnumbered Port Adelaide, but the mark's been paid to the man in front, and that's where you have to be, and that is Christie. Puts it up. Rowan Smith stood his ground. It goes down to Williams once more. He's dispossessed by Bowe, and in fact has been held and receives a free kick. Too far out to score. Greg Phillips has drifted down. Well, he kicked the goal last week against Norwood. The crowd went berserk. He set sail out. He hit the post. Well, that would have been the lift they needed.
Well, that would have really put the icing on the cake, that one. The big fella, they're showing more initiative now, Port, and they're showing more confidence. They're starting to move. Their players are expecting each other's ability. But old Mr. Reliable, who's served Port well over many years, Abernathy, is doing the job brilliantly in the middle.
This is a tremendous game of football. Gibbs kicks to himself, then races away to the 50-metre line. Kicks long, back towards centre wing. Christie is there. Williams over the top for the Maggies and thumps the ball away. 23 minutes gone in the third term. I don't want it to end. It's a great quarter of footy, I can tell you. The Bays 11-6, Port 8-10. And the Maggies, whether you love them or you hate them, I tell you what, tremendous fighting character, the Magpies. Say what you like about them. Away they go again, into the pocket. Elias couldn't take the mark. Loose ball taken by Setri. They won't give up, the Maggies. But sadly, in this quarter, they've wasted a number of opportunities. And Port Adelaide go to 8-11-59. The Tigers 11-6-72.
And they've made a switch again, Port Adelaide. Stringer has gone back to full forward and Hodges out to centre half forward as Elias launches into the football, setting himself Jamison, who is up high, looking for the crumbs was Simons. He tapped the ball back. In there is Chig Whitten working feverishly, but it's picked up by Jamison. The clearing kick goes out wide, searching for Bartlett. Phillips, the destroyer, punches away towards Foster, who's pushed in the side. The ball goes out towards Fiachi. Needs support. Didn't have the numbers at the fall of the ball. This allowed Mansell to pick up the crumbs. His handball over the top. Bartlett dropped what he should have taken. Good pressure by Fiachi. Underneath that is Phillips. Down towards Mansell. Phillips just pushed him out the way. And Williams has given Port Adelaide a little bit of bite since coming onto the ground. Paul Williams. And that's a big leap. Play on. No mark paid. The ball's tapped out towards Stephen Williams. He's looking all class in this third term as he chips it out. The mark not taken. Loose ball. Tregenza uses the body. Soccer's off the ground. Elias has been like the Rock of Gibraltar. The handball to Marshall. In turn to Thompson. And away he goes. He loves to run if it sits. I tell you what, I would not try and run away from Timon Tregenza.
Well, you certainly wouldn't run it out at night, try and bounce the ball on a dewy night. That was a mistake and an inexperienced boy, and this is where the pressure is going to be applied to these Glenelg youngsters, and it'll just be interesting to see how they handle it.
The bounce down. Hodges with a thump. Simons a chance for Liptak. Has it on the defensive side of centre. Towards half forward. The kick's too long. Hines can't take the mark, but he's got support from Phillips. Phillips has got a loose player at half forward. It's Hutton. He's dropped the mark he should have taken. And the ball is being held to him. Well,
I've always said, Ken, it's not the good things you do that win your football matches, the mistakes you make that cost you games.
And David Hutton is starting to get on top of Rod Jamison. He's finding plenty of space out there, and his attack on the ball's been good as the ball goes down towards Stephen Williams. He's perhaps been the best man on the ground in this third term. The ball pushed forward, players jump on top. The handball goes out wide. Using his body is Maynard. Now Jamison gets it over towards Liptak. It's been a star this evening as he pushes it out wide, searching for Fidge. Fidge around his body. The goal face is unprotected. The ball is bouncing forward. It goes through for a point. And a much-needed score by Glenelg.
Yes, Kim, if they can get the ball down there, Fidge is a very dangerous player, as he's proved all night, but they just haven't been able to get through that half-back line this quarter.
The kick-off by Fiachi. Comes towards Hutton. Sits perfectly for him. Thought about the handball. Oh, it's a shocking kick. Well, it's got to be a free kick. That's another free kick. He's picked the second one up, and Setri has got it. Stringer gives the lead. Kick number 13. Oh, over his head. Through the legs of Scotty Hodges. They're working hard at centre-half forward. Stringer's there, but umpire Elliott will call for a bounce.
Yes, Glenelg need to hold these last few minutes. They need to hold and just get their composure again at three-quarter time.
Nearly 27 minutes gone in this third term. Tapped down, taken by Thompson, the handball to Gibbs. Mr. Cool does it casually, runs away ever so casually, and a big punt kick back towards centre wing. Northeast is there, almost a mark to Rouvray. Supporter charge now for the Bays. Here's a build-up. Liptak has the footy. Up towards Fitch. Is he under the ball? Thumped away by Phelps. Beautifully done by Chick Whitten. Gives it to Fitch. Here's an opportunity. It's home, Marshall. He'll goal. He won't make a mistake. He doesn't. It's home. A goal to the Bays.
Yes, as Ken mentioned, he doesn't make mistakes, David Marshall, and he's posted his third goal. He's very accurate. His foot skills are immaculate. And once more, Glenelg proving when they get the ball down towards Fidge, he won't let them down. The handball was extremely good. Marshall was the running player. He managed to get away from Abernathy. He posted his third, and he's just taken a little bit of the pressure off for the Tigers at the 27-minute mark of this term. Centre field once more, 79 plays 59, a 20-point advantage to the Tigers as Hines wins that tap, but he hasn't won many. Port Adelaide, in fact, have won 17 taps opposed to Glenelg's 36 for the night, so it's a decided advantage to the Tigers in the rucking duels. Let's have a look at what happens this time. We're well into time on. We've had 3 minutes, in fact. Port Adelaide have fought back. That was a much-needed goal by the Bays. Marshall extremely accurate, kicking his third. The ball comes to ground. Liptak underneath, held onto his head. Must have copped a little knock on the back of the scone there. I'm sure he'll be okay.
I'm most impressed with young Liptak. He is a true rover, this kid, and they're born. It's very hard to make a rover.
You can't get them at the chemist shop, Curls. No. The ball goes wide from a man that you'd like to buy from the chemist shop. That's McDermott. Bozonico pretty solid there. In fact, been rewarded with a free kick. Didn't quite pick that one up. The ball goes to the outer side. Phillips is starting to run a bit, the big chap. He had a shot for goal not long ago. Bartlett in pursuit. The ball is put out wide to Wanganeen, and that's a great pass. Little Wanga drops in a short pass, looking for ball ace. Oh, didn't take it. That's a bad mistake, and Glenelg may take advantage of this. Picked up cleverly by Liptak. The handball was brilliant to Maynard. A terrible mistake by ball ace. Maynard could have used Mansell, decided not to. In there is Marshall, tapped it out towards Mansell. Back to Maynard, he loves kicking goals, but this is a floating kick. He was looking for Fidge. Phelps did good back there. If that's English, I don't think it is, but that's a goal, number 6 to Fidge.
Yeah, hasn't he been a dangerous player? It's just a matter of getting that ball up around that goal square, and Glenelg will finish off.
So three-quarter time, Glenelg boot away again, 13 goals 7. Plays Port Adelaide 8 goals 11 on Nine's Wide World of Sport. Tremendous game of football in the third term. Back shortly.
Welcome back to Football Park, and at three-quarter time it's the Tigers still leading 13 goals 7, 85 over the Magpies 8-11, 59.
Yes, the goal kick is John Fidge here, impressive John Fidge. What a full forward he is. 6 goals on the board at the moment. David Marshall 3 from the wing, if you don't mind. Nigel Mansell, if you like to call him that, 2. Rouvray McDermott 1 apiece. Stephen Williams, brilliant third quarter, 3 goals. Adrian Septi, Gavin Wanganeen, Paul Stringer, David Hutton and of course David Brown all 1 apiece.
Well, we expected Port Adelaide to fight back. They trailed by 36 points at half-time. Then they reduced that deficit to about 15 points halfway through that term.
Well, it's the old trick, Kim, of playing Stephen Williams forward of centre. How often Jack does that? And he covers the middle with a number of players. This time Bruce Abernathy. But Williams was such a good player on that forward line. It really is a trick that he's pulled so often that it always works.
And this man that came onto the ground in Paul Williams gave a little bit of bite as well.
He did too. And Gavin Wanganeen, I thought, Kim, did some good things too, bringing the ball in. Some of his handballs were very creative. He's a kid when he gets the ball, he doesn't panic. He belies his age, quite frankly. He does the clever thing all the time, Wanganeen. His first half, non-existent. Third quarter, great.
Well, the Tigers are still 26 points up, and I think the large reason for that is the form that Alan Bartlett showed in the first half.
Geez, a go. I didn't know Bartlett was that good, to be honest. He can take a grab and set himself, playing on a great player in Greg Phillips. I mean, Phillips has stood the test of time, hasn't he? Yet Bartlett's done the job tonight at centre-half forward. Really great. He's a real surprise packet.
Well, there's an old saying, Graham, if you could bottle confidence, you'd be a millionaire. And I think that's been the difference with Bartlett tonight, because he started flying for balls and he believes that he can take to the marks.
And the Bays as a side started to come back a little in confidence when Port grew another leg. It's a great game, Kim. It really was. I said pre-match, actually, it'll be a test of character, and it certainly is. Both sides have had to come back from a worrying time, and I suppose you would think the Bays have got it in the bag at this point in time. I wouldn't suggest that. There's still something left in the Port team.
Well, we just saw the coaches both earning their pay out there at the moment. Graham Corns obviously stressing to his players at three-quarter times they must defend that lead and still attack.
And don't panic.
Exactly, and there was a little bit of panic in that third term when Port Adelaide fought back.
No question. Look, it's a great test of character, games like this. It's in front of a big crowd. It could be bigger, I guess you would argue, but it's also top spot, as Russell Johnson said at half-time, top spot at stake. That's enough to make people fight forever, and Port certainly are doing just that.
And one man that'll be enjoying tonight's game is Brian Cunningham. He's homesick at the moment. He's got a bout of the flu. We had to revert to the interchange bench and bring in Curls, and we go back to him now with Ken Cunningham.
Thanks very much, Kim. There you see the respective sides, and Curls, those late 2 goals to the Bays in that third quarter hurt Port Adelaide.
Magnificent injection for the young Glenelg side. That they were starting to buckle there a bit for a period when Port threw everything at them, and they held it together. And then those 2 late goals. Now these kids now believe in themselves that they can handle Port at their best and come back and score against it. And I believe that to win the footy match, all Glenelg have to do this quarter is to kick 1 goal. And I'm certain they're capable of doing more than that. And I can't see how Port can win.
Kells, I've been very impressed with young Matthew Liptak, the Glenelg Grove, in his first year of league football, number 27. He's had a tremendous game again tonight.
Well, I think Graham Corns will be very proud of all of his youngsters tonight. The only one that hasn't done that well is young Jamison, but the other boys have played extremely well. And young Liptak, of course, he's a true little rover, this kid. He knows where to get, and he finds space, and he uses the ball well. And I like the way he sits in front and underneath the packs where the ball falls. He's a good player.
Kells, isn't that great for footy? We see Liptak there and young Gavin Wanganeen. Now, Liptak's about 18 and Wanganeen 16.
16, so yeah, well, it's good to see these kids up. And kids will get the chance if they're good enough and if they're prepared to work hard. And unfortunately, too many kids nowadays want it too easy.
Okay, for the start of the third quarter, your commentator Kim Dillon.
The Tigers lead by 26 points. David Elliott with the football. It's do or die for the Pies. Gary Christie opposed to Hines. There's been no respite for David Hines tonight. He's had the ruck all night and he's in there working hard. Picked up by Bartlett. The handball back towards Simons. Oh, intercepted beautifully by Foster as he hooks around his body. Seabohm leads the charge and kicks off the ground. But kicked that one a little too well, and that's gone out of bounds on the full. 20 seconds into the final term, 13-7 plays 8-11. The ball brought in short. The target, Paul Williams, easily spoiled away, or 2 dives at it. Great attempt. Bromelo in there. He's been pretty solid. He's not unlike Donovan, the injured Donovan, in his approach from that half-back flank.
Free kick to Port Adelaide, taken by Tregenza. With a long kick up towards full forward. It's found Hodges. Well, as I said earlier, it hasn't been Scotty Hodges' night tonight, but that's only his 2nd mark and his 4th kick. He's a far better player than that. If he can kick this goal, it'll lift himself and also the Maggies. He's about 40 metres from goal, just a bit short. In front, Christie. Top mark by Christie.
And a good steadying one for the boys.
A quick handball went out to Robbie Thompson. They know how to feed off these big men down at the Bay as Williams taps that ball over the line. 59 plays 85. And the Magpies need a few quick goals. They certainly applied the pressure to Glenelg in the third term. The Bays managed to steady and fight back with 2 late goals. Stringer, Christie won the tap easily, straight down the lip tag. Gee, he's been impressive tonight. The ball is picked up by Bartlett. So too is this man as he skirts around onto the right boot, driving the ball forward. He's found Chick Whitten, who takes the ball strongly in front of the eyes. The handball goes out towards Jamison, has a bounce. He's 48 metres away from goal as he drives it, and he has kicked it. Great start to the Tigers.
And magnificent football by the youngsters. That was, top shelf stuff. Through the middle to a beautiful movement, a lovely handball on it, a nice break and run. Well, that sealed it there. Maggies just cannot get back in this. They can't kick that many goals in the time that's left in the footy match. And I feel like Glenelg will run on with this game. They're playing with confidence, and they're kids with young, fresh legs. You won't stop them now.
Magnificent goal by Jamison. He'd been probably a little bit down on how well he can play, but that certainly was a very good goal to the Bays. Back in the middle, umpire Semler. Hines and Christie. Up they go, the big men. Down to McDermott, in turn to Marshall. The Bays up towards half forward. Chance for North East. Kicks off the ground. Back towards centre wing. Taken by Jamison. Back towards Foster. He loses the football. He'll get a free kick. No, he won't. Well tackled by Maynard. And umpire Semler will call for a bounce.
Actually, the discipline of the Glenelg side tonight has been very, very good. There's only been the 150 metre, which wasn't a bad one, and their discipline, their tackling, and their chasing has been excellent.
Bounce. Hines taps it out towards Jamison. His kick towards half forward. Fiacci is there. Fitch comes out, takes the footing around his body. Can he kick it? Oh, strike me, Pitt. Unbelievable stuff. A great goal to the Bays.
Well, the ball came in loose and everyone missed the flight of the ball and the bounce of the ball except that man John Fidge. Let's have a look at it. Took it, went straight through a number of players, turned around, looked at the goal face and banged through his 7th goal with the left boot. And it's been a powerful performance by John Fidge, and he's really stamped his authority on this game, and he's laid a fair claim to being the best full forward in South Australia. The Tigers looking fantastic after that 7th goal by John Fidge. 97 opposed to 59. And if the Pies are to get back into this, they'll have to do it right now. At the bottom of the pack is Setri. Tried to get the handball away, but Stephen Semler blew the whistle.
Like I once heard a person said, if God left it out, it's very difficult to put it in, and I just can't see how Port are going to win this footy match.
Here we heard Russell Johnston at half-time. He said it's not over till the fat lady sings. Well, I reckon she's clearing her throat at the moment as the ball goes out wide. Working his way through was Tregenza. Williams a chance. Wanganeen pushed out of it. Williams picks it up. He had a great third time. He should have got rid of it, and he's paid the ultimate penalty holding the ball.
As I said earlier, just previously, that the chasing and the tackling of the Glenelg side has been fantastic.
Bromelo with a kick back towards half forward, thumped away by Phillips, come beautifully by Chick Whitten. He's got Mansell loose at centre half forward. He'll run his full 15 metres, kicks towards goal, and it's fading away.
At the pace of the Glenelg players now, they're moving around the ground. They're prepared to run and break and find the open spaces because they know their teammates are looking with their confidence now, and it's going to be a very, very big quarter.
15-8 plays, 8-11. The Bays in front, Bartlett up high, grabs a strong mark, flanked by Simons. Up towards Fitch, with him is Phelps. In front, Hines, off the deck, towards goal. Not a case and just offline. Bayes doing all the attacking. Fitch talking to the umpire, saying it was hanging on to me. That won't get him too far, I can tell you. There's Phelps. A tremendous night, Fitch. Phelps looking for leads, not too many forthcoming. Size to go long, looking for Hines. With him is Christie. Players working hard. Maynard there. Setri's in there working like a beaver, but can't get the football out, and umpire Elliott will call for a bounce.
And it will be Christie or Bartlett, in fact, opposed to David Hines, and he must be tired. Hines didn't get near that one. It favoured Bartlett. He put it straight down to a teammate. Now the ball has been taken by Christie in defence, and this has been a huge advantage for Glenelg tonight. The two big men in Melican and Christie. Beautifully rode by Mansell. He holds back on that kick. Fidge was the target, but that's a strong grab taken by Phelps. The handball over the top, looking for Foster. Foster lifts the eyes. There's not much movement up along the grandstand wing, though. Hutton takes front position. Jamieson tried to push him out. In there working hard is Williams. The boundary line is close. He keeps it in play, though. Hutton does likewise and gets a clever kick around the boundary line. Seabohm leads in the chase. Body over the ball. He couldn't pick it up. In there is Thompson. It is now pushed out towards Wanganino. He punched that cleverly forward. Hodges in there. The goal face is unprotected. And the ball has bounced through.
Well, there was a goal to Hodges. As we see Wanganeen, who read it beautifully, saw Hodges by himself. Hodges could have given the handball to Borlase. Perhaps he should have. Went round his body. And on that occasion, it just snuck in. And 6 points there to Port Adelaide, a much-needed goal. And they won't lie down, the Maggies. Back in the middle, umpire David Elliott. Hines, Christie. Christie with a thump away. Bartlett in there. McDermott. Players fall over the football and umpire Semler will call for a bounce.
Yes, I think David Hines will be getting a little tired, but he's got something to look forward to because a fresh Melican will be back on in a minute.
Lovely sense of humour. Semler puts the ball to ground. Simons wins that tap. Now Setri in there working hard. He's dragged out of the way. And a free kick will go the way of Port Adelaide. Adrian Setri's found the going pretty tough tonight. The ball should go out wide. Kick number 14. He's picked up a few possessions though, and he finds this man Fiarchi. He also has been one of the better players for Port Adelaide. The ball is driven in long. Christie back there. The ball taken by Seabohm. He blasts it out wide. Paul Williams will be the first player there. He'll have Maynard to contend with. Perhaps turn the wrong way. Williams taps it straight back to Chick Whitten. His handball goes astray. In there, Foster. That's a better handball. They have the numbers. Setri picks it up. Clever work over to Abernathy. Puts it up high. Hodges coming in late, but Christie back there couldn't take it. Picked up by Williams. Puts it out wide. Glenelg players first there. Tremendous work, Tregenza. It's 1 against 4, but the handball goes out to Gibbs. In turn to Lyndon Bowe, and that's a beautiful play out towards Seabohm. Picks it up. Kicks around his body. It's close to the boundary line on the outer side. And in fact, that is a kick to touch.
Gee, Kills, I thought that Tregenza almost should have won holding the ball down there in front of goals.
But he used the word almost, and that was the correct word, that it wasn't paid, and they're getting there in numbers, Glenelg. They're getting more players around the ball than Port Adelaide are.
Centre wing out of side. Phillips trying to push the ball out, comes towards Fiarchi. Port Adelaide with possession to Phillips, flanked by Abernathy. The Maggies will go back into attack. A long kick up towards full forward, not well placed. 2 or 3 Bay players there, Elias or Gibbs. Elias back towards Seabohm with a long handball. Elias butters up again. Gee whiz, he's an impressive performer. To Jamieson. Jamieson towards centre half forward. Fiarchi through his legs. Here's a chance for the big man Phillips. He kicks off the ground. Straight back towards the centre position. Fiarchi there, working hard for possession against Maynard. And umpire Semler says it's a line ball. Played almost 10 minutes into the final term. And it's the Bays by 34 points. You're watching this game live from Footy Park on Nine's Wide World of Sports.
McDermott underneath that. Borlase won the tap. Going through solidly is Foster. Still working hard. He's had a fair input into the game since coming off the bench. The handball is good out towards Hutton. Hutton spears it out, looking for Stringer over the back of that player. Williams has kicked 3. He'll be first there. Off the ground, he's booted 4. Oh, tremendous pace and great anticipation.
Well, once again, they're still out at Port, and what they want to do now is just forget all about that rubbish and get back into their positions and try and get the next goal. That's important because they're, they can't win the footy match, but they've just got to keep in there, hanging there, fighting because Glenelg are playing too good a footy.
It's a magnificent goal by Stephen Williams. Off the pack it goes. Williams breaks away. Hot pursuit was Robbie Thompson. Williams just socking at the last moment.
Gee, hasn't he lifted his game since half-time, Williams? He was beaten in the centre by a very, very good David Marshall, but since half-time, Williams has really fought back like a true good player he is, and he's hurting Glenelg a bit.
No chance Port Kills, only trailing by, what, 28 points?
Glenelg are playing too good.
Okay, back in the middle. Wanganeen going in there. Taps it out and he'll get a free kick. Wanganeen. Kick number 10 towards centre half forward. Up they go, off hands. Gibbs a chance. Tackle, loses the footy. They're in the game again, Port Adelaide. And here's Bowe. Sat upon by Hodges. Bowe Hodges. Kicks off the ground. Is it out of bounds on the full? No. Tickles out on the half-back flank. That's Lyndon Bowe, number 19.
Played very well tonight too, boys. A lot of pace.
13 kicks, 7 handballs, 20 possessions for the game. Well, it's got to be a free kick, surely, not paid. Bourlays.
The ruck change here in a second. Christie will be off and McDermott will be on.
Umpire Semler.
They're looking rather.
About to start proceedings. 12 minutes gone, final term. Setri, lip tack. And Setri, oh, it's pulled a hammy, I think.
the hammy went there.
Ball out of play. Setri a bit prop in his action there. Not a good sign for the young boy. Christie, Hodges. Hit on by Hutton towards Setri. Read beautifully off the hands by Rowan Smith, looking for options. Centres it back to Williams, but it's too far. Elias with a chance now. He'll run into a brick wall, but gets a handball away. To Thompson, back to Gibb. On centre wing, Hines, barred up high. Too early, tapped over the top, lost. Taken by Chigwidden. In there is Fotzer. He certainly added a bit of bite since coming onto the ground, but it ends up with Chigwidden. Chigwidden runs through centre, goes short. Here's a chance now for the Bays. Liptak has the footy, breaks the tackle, runs through the 50-metre, up towards Fidge and Phelps. One-on-one, Fidge and Phelps, speed marks.
This is, he just does that so well. Fidge's done it all night. He holds there, he bustles, doesn't give the push until exactly the last split second. Just edges his player away and takes a good chest mark.
He's kicked 7-3. Fidge, a match-winning performance. This could be 8. 13th kick, and it is home. Bays 16-19, Port 10-11.
I think we made mention earlier that the style of play between the two full forwards was so different, and we said earlier that Fidge is going to be the more valuable of the two, and gee, hasn't that been proven correct? He's given them a really good focal point, Glenelg, and not since the days of, say, Freddie Phillips, a la Freddie Phillips, that sort of thing has happened.
He hasn't got those yellow boots on, Curls.
I don't care what colour boots they wear, as long as they kick goals.
The switch has been made. After 8 goals, Phillips has gone back to full back and Phelps has gone out to centre half back, but I think that's a little late. Hines in there, couldn't win the tap. It goes down towards Foster. The handball in turn to northeast. He puts it up high. Punch down towards Setri. Setri body over the ball. Appeared, yeah, he has done a hamstring. He's in trouble, Setri. He should come off. The ball is now tapped back out towards Jamison, who spears out a pass to find Maynard. As John Fidge kicked 10 last week against the Blues. Well, on Anzac Day, Maynard, kick number 13, full short. In there is McKay, in fact, onto the ground. Abernathy gets the kick away. Underneath that, the mark has been taken by Bromelo. Setri about to come off the ground. Stringer back on.
Yeah, it's very hard to play with a torn hamstring.
Kick number 14 for Bromelo. Hines there, from behind was Phelps. The loose ball taken by Chigwidden. Oh, sweeping handball out towards Mansell. He lines up the goals. The right foot kick is offline once more, and he's had a few chances tonight, Darren Mansell.
Yes, and Hodgie wouldn't be very impressed with that. He was running free and gave the movement, and Mansell ignored him and didn't use him.
And John Fidge gave him a spray too as well, Curls. I can tell you. Phillips kicks off, comes towards the grandstand side. Hodgie the mark.
That's experience, and you don't buy that in chemist shops either, Kim. That's experience and courage.
I'm going to pay a visit to this famous chemist shop one of these days. As Hodgman takes a strong mark and finds Marshall. Marshall now from the 50-metre line.
It's Gibbs here.
Marshall. 18th kick. Also booted 3 goals, so it's been a pretty big night for Marshall. Into the square it'll go. Thumped away, a chance for Chigwidden, back towards Phillips. The big man will run it out of play for sure, he does. Tackled by Chigwidden.
And it's certainly not going to hurt Glenelg's chances there, being out of bounds. They'll just bottlers up now and play timeout.
Yes, we're 16 minutes into the final term. The action on 9's Wide World of Sports. Bartlett wins the tap. It was a clever one back over the head of McDermott. The two number 10s do battle. Stephen Williams has the football, but umpire Stephen Semler calls that a dead heat and will bounce once more. 16-10, 106. Plays 10-11-71. The advantage to the Tigers, and they have led from the outset. They're up 11 points at quarter time. Stretched that to 36 at half time. We've cut back to 26 at three-quarter time, but look pretty much in control now. Down towards Fiarchi, the left foot kick. Underneath that is Williams, and just takes the mark inside the boundary line. Plays on quickly with a handball over to Hutton. Placed him under a little bit of pressure. Hutton was equal to that, but the kick unfortunately went out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, Port's run's gone. They're struggling now. They look a bit tired out there, and you always do, of course, when you're 6 or 7 goals behind the last quarter.
Well, excluding Foundation Cup games, this will be the second time in the last 6 encounters, we'll make it 7 counting tonight, that Glenelg have been able to defeat Port Adelaide. The last time was Anzac Day last year as Chigwidden gets it over towards Simons. Could have used the run of Liptak, eventually does so. He drives it in long. Fidge wanted it that way. Oh, and he's hit the post. Well, he deserved better.
Yes, it did. It was a good build-up there and very clever use of the ball by the Glenelg boys, and that their confidence is growing every minute.
And Matthew Liptak kicked 3 points. The kick-off by Phillips.
They must take chance now, Port.
Oh.
Not that sort of chance, though.
That was a poor kick on that occasion by Stephen Williams, straight into the arms of Marshall. Marshall goes short. Take your pick, either Hodgie or Liptak, and Liptak takes the mark. 18 minutes into the final term. 20 kicks and 13 handballs. 33 possessions, young Liptak. Gets in close to the man on the mark. Is it home? It's touched. No, it's been touched off the boot. Only a minor score. That's his 4th point. Port Adelaide 10-11. Glenelg 16 goals, 11.
You mentioned Ken, he got very close to the man on the mark and in fact hit the hands of that person policing the mark as the ball goes out wide. 18 minutes into the final term, 16-12 opposed to 10-11. The official attendance here at Football Park tonight, 15,290. I'm sure there's been many thousands of people who have enjoyed the game sitting at home tonight. The ball is pushed wide out towards Tregenza, looking for alternatives, decides to drive it long. Underneath that is Borlase. The spoiler was Thompson. Down towards Gibbs, gets a kick out wide, but it goes straight towards Foster. His handball over towards Williams. Williams has kicked 4 tonight. The goal is unprotected, and that's a very good kick for Williams' 5th goal.
Well, as Neil Curley told you a few moments ago, Stephen Williams well held in the first half, but he certainly has picked up his work rate in the second half. Totally committed, and he's been a very, very good player for Port Adelaide in the second half. Knows where the goals are, and that was a beautiful kick by Stephen Williams, and he's played up forward in the second half and played particularly well. But Port Adelaide, they won't lie down, but the Bows will sneak home. Back with umpire Stephen Semler. 19.5 minutes gone. The bounce down. Christie straight to northeast. A high ball up towards the attacking area. Up went Williams, couldn't complete the mark. Off hands by Borlase towards centre half forward. A chance now for Bow, met by Hodges. Taps it to Elias. Smothered beautifully. Back towards Bromelo. Bromelo back towards the centre again. Hines is there. Can he take the mark? No, he can't. Crumbed by Chigwidden. Goes back onto his right boot and finds Mansell. Mansell thought about playing on. Hodges in the pocket. That's the way he goes. Coming out is Fiarchi. Hodgie has the football. Centres it towards Fidge. The big man comes out. Phillips thumps it away. Taken by Mansell. Throws it out to Liptak. Liptak around his body. Won't get the distance. Going back there is Phillips. Thumps the ball away again. Geez, a big man. Kicked by Marshall. Right across the face of goal. They're still in this game here. Mansell on the left boot, and it tickles out of play.
That's about the best, unless he found a Glenelg player, it's the best place Mansell could have put it. They'll regroup now and set it up again.
20.5 minutes into the final term. Bartlett, the tap straight down to McDermott. He's been a little bit quieter in the second half. Good handball by Chigwidden to Liptak. Too slow. The ball goes out towards Mansell, and he hits the post from about 3 metres out.
Gee, the last 2 shots have taken the woodwork, and they've worked hard, the kids, and it's great to see a lot of good young players coming up for the state. It's really good, really impressive football by Glenelg.
Kick off goes the way of Rosonico, and a fairly quiet play tonight for the Magpies. Only kick number 6 for him. Bumped away back towards Marshall. Chigwidden, he's worked hard since coming onto the ground. All just in time. Phillips in front, and he'll take the mark. He's a big man. He really is. He's huge. Over to Fiachi. I say that in a kind way. He's a great footballer. Abernethy on the defensive side of centre. Kick number 19 comes the way of Williams, who's also shown some commitment since coming onto the ground at half-time. Kicks up towards half-forward. Rowan Smith, but getting back there is Jemison. This kid's got plenty of talent too, I can tell you. His 20th possession for the evening. Over the top, taken by Stringer. Here's a chance now for Abba. He'll be run down, but gets his kick in time. Up towards Hodges. Over the top of that player's head, but it's all the bays here. Elias has played superbly. Tapped it in front of him. A chance now for McKay, who's back on. Through to Rowan Smith, back to McKay. He should kick for goal. Where's he gone? Short. He'll find Wanganeen. And Wanganeen marks. His second mark by Gavin Wanganeen for the night. He's kicked 1 goal. Chance to boot his second. Kick number 11. And it's home. Port Adelaide's 12.
Yes, that ball was brought in, a short kick by McKay, and Wanganeen, a great diving mark. Elias showed great desperation prior to that, but didn't have the support, and ultimately it was Gavin Wanganeen kicking his second goal to move the score along. Port Adelaide 12-11, putting some respectability into the scoreboard. 83, Glenelg 16-13, 109. '83 plays 109, so the scoreboard not looking that bad at the moment, but Glenelg have played a great game tonight. Gibbs was the destroyer. The handball goes from Maynard out towards McDermott. Oh, there's loose players everywhere. It finds Liptak. That was beautifully taken. He straightens the body, spears it out looking for Fidge. Couldn't quite take it. Mansell back there, but Rosonico picks up the crumbs, puts the ball up high out there looking for Ball Ace, who takes the mark. Out in front of the scoreboard, which reads 16-13 to 12-11. Kick number 12 for Darryl Boulace. Out looking for Phelps. It's fisted forward, taken by Bartlett. He's had a big night out. There's the short pass. It didn't quite find Chigwidden. Northeast in there. The handball to Hines. He couldn't take it. He looks pretty tired, David Hines. Chigwidden back to Maynard. Here's Fidge. Fidge and Phillips. That's a great battle of strength. Biachi in there. Should be first to the ball. He paddles it towards the boundary line, and that's his best option. And just a dash of intent in that play.
Well, I think he saw the line. Mellican must be injured or something, because I feel certain that Graham Corns would have used him.
Well, he did have a crook foot or ankle after the Sturt game, so perhaps they're just playing it safe with Mellican.
Chance now for Fiachi working hard, but Fitch picks it up, gets a handball to no one in particular. Abernethy comes out, taps it out towards Rosonico. He looks for options, finally decides to go to the outer side, looking at there for Wanganeen. With him is Bromelo, border ground. Players working hard. Wanganeen now with the footy, then lose it, taps it out cleverly to northeast. Maynard for the Bays. Tregenza to Gibbs. Into the pocket, Marshall. But the ball beats Marshall and Borlase out of play. Played 24 minutes into the final term. Great game at Football Park. You watch it on Nine's Wide World of Sports. Throw in. Abernethy, Liptak. He's worked hard tonight for a rover, really has. Ball Ace is being held.
There's some tired players out there now, and of course they've got a right to be, because they've all players have worked extremely hard, but Glenelg gave a little bit too much class and just a little bit too much brilliance with their disposal.
Abernethy with his 22nd kick. Chance for Stephen Williams, goes back onto his right boot, well shepherded by Phelps. Into the open goal now, will it go through? No, it won't. It won't quite make the distance. Elias is back there. Played superbly in defence. Over to Gibbs. In fact, their defence has played brilliantly all night. To all the Bays back here. Take your option, McDermott. Handballs away to Lyndon Bowe. He in turn to Jason Bromelo. Back to Bowe. Tackled. Over to Liptak. That's beautiful movement by the Bays. Into the pocket, Marshall. Now, what's this? Excuse me. Is he any good or not, eh?
Well, he normally finishes the work off, but that was beautiful work to bring that ball out. I keep on saying it, but these young Glenelg boys have really found just another rung in confidence tonight. They'll go away from this game with extremely satisfied with the 2 points, but looking better in the future because the way they've played the footy match and the way some of these kids have responded to real pressure.
Yes, and David Marshall kicking his 4th goal with his 20th kick for the evening as the Port Adelaide fans start to leave Football Park. They're pretty loyal normally, but at the 26-minute mark, 17-13 to 12-11, there's no hope tonight as the ball is pushed forward, taken by Maynard. They won't stop the Tigers. The pass is pushed out. Now Fidge is having a little more trouble coping with the bulk of Phillips. Back there, Rosonico, as he takes that over the line. Jeffrey Phelps started on John Fidge. And Phelps, he's seen a bit of Football Park tonight. He was moved from full-back to centre-half back. He now finds himself at centre-half forward. And it was this man that started the rot, John Fidge. He's kicked 8 goals tonight. Hines still got the spring in those legs as he pushes it out towards Williams. And the free kick will go that way. Kimmy Hodgman, a great player for Glenelg in North Melbourne, South Australia. Williams looking for Phelps. Front position, Christie, and they've had too much height all night.
Yes, he's played very well dropping back. He's taken a lot of marks.
Kick number 7 towards David Marshall. Started superbly tonight. He's kicked 4 goals. 21st kick.
A fine movement. I'm certain he's waiting for a late lead. I don't know who's going to give it to him. Someone, no, he's not. He's going long.
Marshall close to the man on the mark. It's a long kick at a lob in the square. Phillips in front. The ball is stumped away out of play into the full forward pocket. So 27.5 minutes gone the final term. The Bays will win this game. It's David Marshall. 17-13, Port Adelaide 12-11, and the Bays will be the undefeated side in the competition, and of course take top spot. The kick by Leptak around his body, back to the forward pocket it goes, and in fact out of play once again.
The big fella's been in the right spot back there every time the ball's come into that goal square. He's blocked Fidge's movement, and of course he takes a bit of getting around too.
Hines wins the tap. It goes down towards Simons. He couldn't control it. Northeast off the ground. One-on-one battle out there, Maynard and Abernathy, but it's flicked cleverly back towards McDermott. And Neil, with the advantage of hindsight, and it's always easier up here, perhaps Phillips could have been moved back there a little earlier.
Well, there are always moves you can make, and it's very difficult for a coach to assess the situation. I guess he had his confidence in Phelps, but maybe that's so. But it's not easy being a coach.
Thought you might say that. Dead heat out on the outer side in front of the scoreboard.
Actually, Kimbo, he said that with a smile on his face, girls.
I didn't think he'd be smiling at the moment. Nevertheless, David Elliott with the football. Chigwidden indicating where he wants the ball. But he had no say in that as Port Adelaide thump it forward. McDermott picks it up, though, out towards Bow. He's been very workmanlike, so too has Bromelo. And there's the big chap, Greg Phillips. Oh, he's a great player. Very fair and very hard. He puts it out towards Fiachi. George is off. Hodgie will keep him honest though, but George did that well. Drives it down looking for Phelps opposed to Seabohm. Good battle there. Picked up by Bow. He's everywhere. The handball goes back to Seabohm. Unfortunate bounce. Williams does it well. Uses the left boot. He's a very good player, Stephen Williams. He finds Hutton over the top to McKay. Hodges on the lead. The short pass goes right on the chest. Well, he's only kicked one. You can tell by the applause of the crowd, or the jeers of the crowd. He's found it hard tonight. He's been on a very good opponent.
He just started badly, didn't he, Kim, when he dropped those first few marks. His confidence went down through the turf.
He had about 4 chances in the first term, didn't make the most of them, but he's kicked the goal. That gives him 2 for the game.
Well, obviously he's a better player, Scotty Hodges, than we've seen tonight. As Curl said, he didn't start well, and of course I think that sapped his confidence.
Oh yeah, but full marks to young Ellis at Elias at full back. He has played a superb game. It's the first time I've seen the boy, and he's got good strong dash. He's got good anticipation. He's got height. He's got pace, and I think he's got good judgment. I like the look of him, and it's going to be hard for full forwards to score goals against that boy.
So 30 minutes gone the final term. Down goes the bounce, and there's the siren to end the game, the big game between Port Adelaide and the Tigers at Football Park. Played in front of a crowd of 15,000 people. Glenelg, 17 goals, 13, 115. Defeated Port Adelaide, 13-11-89. You're watching the game on Nine's Wide World of Sports. We'll come back with more football shortly.
Welcome back to Football Park, and there you see the end result. Glenelg 17 goals 13, defeating Port Adelaide 13 goals 11. A great performance by the Tigers. Looking at the main goal scorers, Fitch 8, great performance, Marshall 4 and Stephen Williams 5 for Port Adelaide. The three best players, Marshall, Fitch and Liptak. Certainly a great game of football. Thanks for being with us. Coming up shortly, Robbo's World Tonight.
This has been another presentation from Nine's Wide World of Sports.